The NFL Today on CBS Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines.
And welcome back, everyone. Right now, Microsoft Surface simplifies today's game in Orchard Park between the Dolphins and the Bills as we get you first on the field. Let's send you out there live with our announcers, Tom McCarthy and Adam Archuleta. Gentlemen.
A majority of folks around these parts are calling it the biggest home opener in the 4 decades of football at Ralph Wilson Stadium. If the emotion surrounding the Dolphins and the Bills is any indication, they may be right. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by former 7-year pro Adam Archuleta. Adam, they just finished a tremendous ceremony for Ralph Wilson being put up in the Wall of Fame. And then the surprise, both these teams come in with 1-0 records.
Yeah, who would have thought that when the schedule came out that we'd be sitting here, the Miami Dolphins beating New England Patriots in Week 1, and the Buffalo Bills on the road against a talented Chicago Bear football team, both with a shot to start 2-0 in the division.
All right, let's take a look back to last week's ball games. We'll begin with the Miami Dolphins. They were down by 10 at the half, and then Mike Wallace in the third quarter athletically finds his way into the end zone. This ties the game. The Dolphins eventually take the lead, and then Cameron Wake, well, he takes care of everything else. His second sack, this is strip of Tom Brady. So the Dolphins win at 33-20. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Fred Jackson with a big old stiff arm on Chris Conte. That's a 38-yard run. What does that do in overtime? It sets up this field goal by Dan Carpenter that wins it for the Buffalo Bills, 23-20. So that's the flashback. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes. Why were the Dolphins successful last week?
It was about that running game, and a running game that brutalized that New England secondary to the tune of 191 yards on the legs of Noshawn Moreno, who displayed a physical running style that was heavy on yards after contact. It was his ability to shake off that first defender, to rumble through and bust through that line of scrimmage. And then I love the way he finished. So if you're a defensive back, you see big number 28 bust through the line of scrimmage, you better bring it, because it could be a long afternoon.
All right, meanwhile, for the Buffalo Bills, you think E.J. Manuel's tired of people wondering if he can manage a game or not?
Well, last week was a perfect start to the season for both Manuel and this offense. He looked confident. He looked in control of the offense and like a completely different quarterback than we saw last season. Not to mention 73% on 22 attempts was a great recipe, but he had a luxury, Tom. He had 3 running backs that equally chipped in for 193 yards with complementary running style, and you got to believe that the formula, if they can run the ball like they did, E.J. Manuel take care of the football, manage the game. That's the recipe that they're going to try and put on the field here today.
All right, defensively, it's an outstanding team, but then you sprinkle in the knowledge of Jim Schwartz, the new defensive coordinator, and they should be set as the season moves on. It's time now to take a look at our Home Depot tools for success.
Well, it was a bend but don't break kind of afternoon for Jim Schwartz's defense against that talented Chicago Bear, but it was opportunistic in taking the ball away, giving it back to the offense that was the difference. For the Miami Dolphins, Ryan Tannehill, kind of a slow start, but he picked things up in the second half with some big throws, and was the difference in that game. The Miami linebackers, both Donnell Ellerbe, Koamisi out. Backups, you better step up, because this running game will test your gap integrity and the atmosphere, Tom. The emotion, the energy, all the excitement around this Buffalo Bills football team. It would do wonders if they capitalized by winning their second game of the season here on their home turf.
Well, you talk about the atmosphere. A few moments ago, we got a chance to see Jim Kelly address the crowd of all people, and Andre Reed leading the charge for the Buffalo Bills. It's an incredible atmosphere. Soak it in, everybody. Towels waving. More than 70,000 on hand today here at Ralph Wilson Stadium as the Bills and the Dolphins, they renew one of the best rivalries in all of the AFC, and you get a chance to see it. Kickoff from Buffalo is coming up next.
200 years ago today, the Stars and Stripes flew in victory over Baltimore's Fort McHenry, inspiring one of our country's finest works, the Star-Spangled Banner. Join us as we honor America at each NFL stadium with our national anthem, and allow the power of Francis Scott Key's poetic lyrics to remind us of the courage and sacrifice that keeps our country the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Tom Sartori with today's national anthem as the paratroopers come in from up above. The fans singing along. A great atmosphere, one we will get a chance to embrace in just a little bit. A former poem from Francis Scott Key has turned into a beautiful anthem for a great country. We'll be back with kickoff right after this.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Just moments ago, the United States flag being brought in by our second paratrooper here at Ralph Wilson Stadium. Pretty good mark. He landed right around the 50-yard line. That takes some practice right there. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish where available using the SAP button on your television. Well, it's tough for us to describe the emotion here at Ralph Wilson Stadium, but just a few moments ago, John Murphy, the longtime voice of the Buffalo Bills, helped unveil Ralph Wilson's gold name on the Wall of Fame. Mary, his wife, obviously very emotional. You saw the patch that the Bills are wearing all year long on their uniform top. And everybody here embraces the Wilson family. And Joe Philbin, he recognized the emotion that was going to surround today's ball game. He understood it and understands it and let his players know about it as well. But they're ready for business up here from Miami. They arrived yesterday, and off of last week's victory over the New England Patriots, he's feeling pretty good about his team coming into this ball game, Adam.
He should feel really good about what they were able to accomplish last week, but it was only one game, and I think as big as it was to beat the New England Patriots, to be able to come here on the road against another division rival in this atmosphere and get a win, that's the next step for his football team.
Well, for Doug Marrone in his second year, the former head coach of Syracuse University, last year he won 6 games. He also said what you said, Adam, about it just being one game, and that's it. Dolphins won the toss. They deferred. The Bills will receive. And their kicker is Caleb Sturgis. 74 kickoffs, 38 touchbacks. Back deep to receive for the Buffalo Bills, the very talented C.J. Spiller. And we're underway from Buffalo, Ralph Wilson Stadium, and C.J. Spiller halfway through the end zone will return it. Comes across the 10 and dives forward to the 14. And that's where the Bills and E.J. Manuel will begin their first drive of the day.
And they're looking for a big start, a quick start from E.J. Manuel. Last week, he started out the game in command of the offense. He looked very comfortable, got the ball out of his hands quickly. So they're looking for the exact same thing today as they start this game.
Well, they'll start this ball game with Fred Jackson in the backfield as the deep man. The fullback is Frank Summers, third-year pro out of Pittsburgh. A receiver to the right, one to the left, and Jackson right through the gut up to the 25. Michael Thomas makes the tackle. Let's take a look at the Bills' offense to start this afternoon. Eric Woods seems to be one of the big keys, but Seantrell Henderson, he's going to have to have a big day for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, how about a Cameron Wake? I mean, that's not what you want to see, but look, welcome to prime time. These are the type of athletes you're going to have to go against.
Rookie Sammy Watkins is a big storyline for the Bills. They'd like to get him more involved. A gain of 11 on first down from the 25, the inside handoff. And a short gain of 2 on the play. Audric makes the tackle. Now the Dolphins defense has been a topic of conversation this week, if only because of the linebackers, but they've got a very good front four.
That's where it starts. Their front four dictates the pace of the game, and then again, they're going to be aggressive in the secondary. Linebackers are going to have to step up. Philip Wheeler's back, and Louis Delmas. Watch him against this Buffalo rushing attack. He's going to have to play a big part.
4 tackles last week. The first throw of the day for Manuel. Pretty safe onto the outside. Jackson doesn't gain anything. Jelani Jenkins makes the tackle. So second down for the Bills, or third down, excuse me. E.J. Manuel is second year out of Florida State. And as Adam mentioned, more than 70% completion rate last week against the Chicago Bears.
And third downs is where they have to have it. They were good, according to Coach Marone, last week in third and short. Third and 7+, not so much. So this is a big key third down for E.J. Manuel in this offense.
Look at Chandler, the tight end. Williams, who's into the ballgame for the first time. Manuel to throw. Wide open is Sammy Watkins. Inside Dolphins territory to the 45 of Miami.
Well, they bring in the formation tight, so the Miami Dolphins cannot press Sammy Watkins, and this is a drop in coverage. Corner falls on the ground. You see that, and look at that. That's wide open. And a great chance for E.J. Manuel and Sammy Watkins to capitalize on a miscue by the Miami defense, convert on a third down. Now they're already past midfield.
Gain of 28 on the play. What did they tell us at practice the other day? They wanted to get Watkins involved early in this game. 4 targets last week, 3 receptions. Offset I formation. Manuel to throw again. Looking long to the far side for Watkins, and he dropped it at the goal line. Brent Grimes was in on the coverage for the Dolphins.
Well, the big thing that they talked about this week as opposed to last week, let's get the ball downfield. Let's take shots. And here's Sammy Watkins with a chance. Unbelievable job by Brent Grimes to reach that hand in there, right there at the point of the catch. Right there. And you see Sammy Watkins is not able to secure it, but that was the big point of emphasis. Let's get chunk plays, let's get explosive plays, and let's get Sammy Watkins going early. We feel like he can have a breakout game.
Brent Grimes, a 2-time Pro Bowler. The Dolphins signed him to a 4-year deal this past offseason. On second down, the handoff is given to C.J. Spiller, who slips down. Excuse me, Anthony Dixon. So a loss of 1. They'll be second down at 11.
You see already in this drive throwing the ball downfield, and one of the biggest points of emphasis for E.J. Manuel and what they were trying to do this season. You know, don't check it down, look for the big ball.
Well, Sammy Watkins has been battling those sore ribs, and they said he has battled through it to practice and play. He's being looked at right now on the sidelines. Third down at 11 out of the shotgun is Manuel. A little pump, he's under pressure, flips it forward, incomplete. I don't know if there was a receiver in the area or not. Flag is thrown. Audric was in on the pressure.
It was a nice move up inside by Audric on the right guard, Eric Pierce, with the swim move to get pressure on E.J. Manuel. I think they were looking for Marquise Goodwin down at the bottom, who was their speed guy.
Clete Blakeman is our referee.
There is no defensive holding on the play. Complete pass. It's a 4th down.
All right, so no foul. It'll be 4th down, and the Bills will be forced to punt.
You can see Audric right here. I love the hands, the swim move. Easily is able to hit Pierce and then gets a tee-off shot by E.J. Manuel.
So the Dolphins hold after a big play by the Bills, and now they'll get the ball. Colton Schmidt is on the punt for the Bills. Back deep to receive is Jarvis Landry. And Landry calls for the fair catch. And he'll be spotted right around the 13 of Miami. Well, we knew that the Dolphins would pressure E.J. Manuel, and they got to him on a key 3rd down that gives the Dolphins the ball back. Ryan Tannehill throughout the week said he needs to be better, even though his team won last week. He was 18 of 32, 178 yards. Charles Clay comes in motion on 1st down from the 13 of Miami. Lamar Miller is the tailback, and Tannehill to throw. The pocket collapsed, but he still was able to find his receiver at the 24 was Brandon Gibson. Take a look at the Miami starting offense. Their offensive line is refurbished. Includes Jawan James, the rookie out of Tennessee. Samson Sautelli is manning the center position. Charles Clay, he's one of the best tight ends in the National Football League. They want to get him in the mix early in this ball game.
Now, I would expect Clay to play a big part in this football game here tonight.
On 1st down from the 25, the inside handoff will go to Miller, who runs right up the middle to the 31. All right, let's take a look at the Bills' defense. The front line could be the best in the National Football League. Kyle Williams is the veteran. Mario Williams is the guy that pursues. Now, the linebacking crew, Brandon Spikes in the middle, the veteran over from New England. He's helped solidify things with the injury to Kiko Alonso. And then Leotis McKelvin. 13 tackles a week ago. 2nd down and 4 from the 31. Receivers stacked on both sides with Clay on the near side. Off the play fake, Tannehill to throw. He's under pressure, and he goes down. Kyle Williams flushed him in. Mario Williams cleaned him up.
But Audric for the Dolphins did it in that last season, and now here you go. Kyle Williams inside, pushing the pocket with the inside move. Does a tremendous job with his hands, swatting the right guard away, and then Mario Williams keeping discipline. Quarterback falls inside, sack. This defensive line, we talked about the 3, but don't forget about Jerry Hughes. He only had 10.5 sacks last season, and that's going to set up a big 3rd and long for Miami Dolphins offense.
From the 27 of Miami. Tannehill to throw. Has some time. He tries to find Clay. Overthrows. Graham in on the coverage. And Miami will be forced to punt.
A really nice defensive series from Jim Schwartz's Buffalo Bill defense. And everybody talked about all week this Bills defensive line. How can it get any better? It's going to be a big storyline in this game. Not only Mario Williams against the rookie Jawan James, but how are the inside guys who had a little trouble with New England last week, how will they hold up against the inside pressure of that Buffalo defensive front? Brandon Fields on the punt the ball away. McKelvin back deep to receive. He's going to get a chance to return this one. He comes running up from the 29. As a blocker up across the 40 to the 41 before he's stopped by Michael Thomas. Well, Mario Williams said he knew a thing or two when he decided to sign with the Buffalo Bills. He knew the defense was going to be dominant.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. Pizza Hut's bacon and cheese stuffed crust. Bacon? Enough said. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Well, it was an incredible scene arriving here at Ralph Wilson Stadium the other day for the first time and seeing how close that house
Doing
was.
my best, brother. It's a little loud in
Ralph
here.
Wilson Stadium. It's almost like we're in Green Bay with all the houses close to Lambeau Field. It's an incredible scene. They sold out the RV lot for the first time, which was a big deal. They were lined up yesterday, arriving for today's ball game. Second possession, and the quick toss on the end arounds Marquise Goodwin. The Big Bang Theory is time traveling to a new night, Monday, with back-to-back episodes. Don't miss Emmy winner Jim Parsons as the new season begins Monday, September 22nd, only on CBS. Well, a gain of 4, not a surprise that they got Goodwin involved this early. Athletic kid, great speed. It's second down and 6. And now an audible called by E.J. Manuel with Jimmy Wilson coming up on the near side, showing blitz. And an inside handoff, no gain. Good pursuit by the Dolphins defense. C.J. Spiller on the carry.
Well, here's that 3rd and 6 that Doug Marrone talked about. And you looked at their last drive, 3rd and 8. They were able to capitalize on a Miami Dolphins mistake, get the ball to Sammy Watkins, but then you saw them 3rd and 11, the quarterback hit by Andre. So this is a little bit more manageable, this 3rd and 6. Bunch formation. Watch one of these wide receivers with maybe a slant over the middle. They were working that a lot in practice 2 days ago.
They need to get across the 49, inside the 49. Manuel can run. He dumps it off to Jackson along the outside. Jackson has a first down and more before he's shouldered out of bounds by Jimmy Wilson. Inside the 30-yard line, it's a gain of 28 for Fred Jackson.
And really a nice job by E.J. Manuel. Olivier Vernon is going to come in here with the pressure, and that's what forces Manuel to get outside, break the pocket. But what I love what he does, he just sees Fred Jackson out there in the flat. Somebody drops him in coverage, didn't take care of the check down. And you see the Bills getting another first down. Now here you go on the 27-yard line with a chance to strike.
So first down for the 27 of Miami. The handoff goes to Jackson. Not a whole lot there. He stopped close to the 25. Oh, an update from New York on the Vikings and the Patriots.
Adrian Peterson's replacement making noise.
Yeah, Matt Asiata is going to take this swing pass or bootleg right here from Matt Castle, 25 yards. And Matt Castle against his former team puts Minnesota up 7-0.
Capitalizing on an opportunity, Tom McCarthy, Adam Archuleta.
Well, back here at Buffalo, 7:20 to play here in the first quarter and counting. So the Patriots 3-0 against Minnesota as the handoff goes to Jackson over the block of his guard down to maybe the 21. So a gain of 4 on the play. Fred Jackson said something pretty interesting the other day. He said having the 3 backs is good because there are times where one of us doesn't see everything the right way. So then the other guy comes in and maybe he sees things a little differently.
Yeah, a lot of teams now, they're going to the running back by committee, usually have a 1-2 punch. And, you know, Anthony Dixon, he came here from the San Francisco 49ers to primarily be a special teams guy, but he's so good in camp. And every opportunity he got, he started to flash. And you saw last week, he gets in the game and busts out a 47-yarder.
Well, we mentioned that in the open. It was important to show more for Dixon than anything else. Here's Watkins. And Watkins got his foot caught in the turf just inside the 15. All right, so a safe throw for E.J. Manuel, and he has been able to manage things a little bit here today.
Well, it's smart because he sees that Will Davis is playing off, and they tighten up the formation. Davis is playing off, and so that's pretty easy. You get a guy like Sammy Watkins, so that is so quick out of his breaks. E.J. Manuel finds him, and you get another first down.
Earl Mitchell checks back into the ballgame for the Dolphins on the defensive line. C.J. Spiller is the deep man behind Frank Summers. And a handoff to Spiller right through the middle down to the 10. A gain of 4 on the play. Well, this will be a test today for the Dolphins linebacking crew. We mentioned in the open that they have to step up for the injured Koamisi, the injured Donnell Ellerbe. One of those things that we wonder is who's the guy that really steps up and is the leader of that linebacking crew.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to step up. Jelani Jenkins had a good game last week in coverage, but whole different animal this week against the Bills.
Here's Jackson, not much. He may have gotten a half yard on that one. So it'll be 3rd down for the Bills. All right, what would you do on 3rd down here, Adam?
Well, you talk to this staff and you see what they did last week, and they really thought that they have more opportunities to score in the red zone. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the tight end Scott Chandler. Watch him, sneak him out there, big target over the middle, and kind of a guy that this Miami Dolphins defense has had a little trouble with.
Well, he's lined up on the left side of the offensive line. Kevin Coyle, the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, made sure he pointed him out yesterday. Manuel, quick toss on a slant, incomplete, intended for Woods, and he just threw it short.
Well, he had Derek Shelby right in his face, and Robert Woods had it. I mean, that was right there because the presence of Derek Shelby getting that left hand up there, getting his hand in EJ's face, he wasn't able to see Woods. And what I think is a missed opportunity, because you get there third and short, open in the middle. That's one they should have had.
Well, you just saw Kevin Coyle, who's down on the sidelines. He said it's not the perfect spot for him to see everything, but he said the players seem to like it, so that's why he's on the sidelines instead of up in the booth.
I always liked when my coordinator was on the sideline. It just, it feels better. You have more of a connection.
Dan Carpenter's field goal gives the Bills the early lead. 4:47 to play here in the first quarter. Bills up 3-0. AFC Special Teams Player of the Week, Dan Carpenter's 27-yard field goal capped a 10-play, 49-yard drive for the Bills. Sammy Watkins had a big reception on that drive for Buffalo. And I guess he's healthy enough to continue. That's a good sign for the Bills. Damian Williams is back deep to receive for the Dolphins. And the kickoff will go over his head and out of bounds. So Miami will begin 1st and 10 from the 20. There is a flag down on the field. 3-0. Bills on top. Late flag was thrown as the ball was sailing through the end zone. Clete Blakeman, former quarterback at the University of Nebraska, is our official here this afternoon.
Offside, kicking team number 3. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line.
I believe Nickel Roby was called for offside. So 3-0 Bills. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Dolphins when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds fans to stay in the game and drink responsibly. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Well, they expect more than 71,000 on hand here today for this ballgame. The Bills lead at 3-0. How about the Dolphins? This is what their offensive line looked like last year. Now, Pouncey is out with hip surgery. They had to change it as the season went on. The veteran Bryant McKinney came in and helped solidify things with all the issues. Totally different, Adam, now in 2014 as we head into week number 2.
And played really well last week. But as both Kyle and Mario Williams said, they're 5 new guys, but they're 5 veteran guys, and they run a zone blocking scheme. And so those guys know what they're doing. They had a tremendous start to the season last week against the Patriots.
Brandon Albert, one of the keys in the left tackle position, over from the Kansas City Chiefs. Tannehill to throw, has Wallace at the 31. Let's check in with JB in New York.
Take a look at RG3 getting injured on this play, Coach.
He lands awkwardly. He was taken off the cart. You're looking at his lower body. And then Kirk Cousins comes in the first play. He finds Darrell Young in the end zone, 20 yards out. Washington up 7-0.
Cousins always effective in relief. Back to Tom and Adam.
Yeah, Cousins was great, JB, a couple of years ago for the injured RG3. That's something the Redskins fans don't want to see, as Noshawn Marino gets his first carry up to the 35. Nickel Roby in on the tackle for the Bills. And Noshawn looks like he's hurt after that tackle. He's holding that wrist. Well, that's not a good thing for the Dolphins. Marino had such a great week last week. We got a chance to talk to him yesterday. What a likable kid with a whole bunch of energy. There's no question about that. So we'll be back to Buffalo with the Bills on top 3-0.
Well, you see Noshawn Moreno going off the field in obvious pain, holding that left elbow. And as you get a chance to kind of take a look at the replay, watch the left arm as he puts it down on the ground to plant. And then Nigel Bradham comes in, the linebacker, number 53, and you kind of see that lower arm, that hyperextension of the elbow. So hopefully it's just one of those things that hurts and he's able to bounce back. But certainly not a good-looking picture on the replay.
Yeah, Damian Williams, the rookie out of Oklahoma, is going to get some of the reps until we find out about Marino. He's in the backfield right now. And now in motion out of the backfield. Tannehill out of the shotgun, hands the ball off to Miller. And not much there, running left for Lamar Miller. Kyle Williams in on the tackle.
Well, you see all the misdirection from Bill Lazor's offense. They put multiple guys in positions in the backfield, a lot of motion, a lot of distractions. And what they're trying to do, they're just trying to influence the defensive end. Maybe he can widen a little bit and then sneak Lamar Miller up inside, but this is a veteran defensive line, and you're not going to fool them very often. You're going to have to beat them by being more physical.
Second down and 9 from the 36. Tannehill out of the shotgun. Couple receivers off to his left, one to his right. Drops back to pass. Looking long to the middle of the field, looking for Wallace, and Corey Graham breaks it up.
Well, I thought this is one of these throws that I thought Tannehill should have had. They influenced the safety inside by Clay, and there's no inside presence. If you lead that ball on the other hash marker over by that 20-yard line marker and let a guy with Mike Wallace's speed run under that, that's going to be a touchdown. But because the ball was thrown backwards, you give a chance for Corey Graham to come in there and make the pass breakup.
Graham stepped in last week as a starter, had an excellent week against the Bills. Tannehill again out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 9. Quick toss to the far side. And shy of the 14-yard line, excuse me, the 39-yard line is Jarvis Landry, Jerry Hughes, and Searcy in on the pursuit.
You know, Tom, it's kind of one of those cliches. You can never overthrow a guy like Mike Wallace. And when he has a chance, and they talked about the opportunities to push the ball down the field and hurting a defense for their mistakes, you know, that's one. Mike Wallace has the speed. You got to lead him and allow him to run under that, and he's still running, and that's going to be a touchdown.
Brandon Fields on the punt for the second time as we head toward 2 minutes left to play in the first quarter. And the punt is blocked. Picked up by the Dolphins inside the 15. Williams trying to get some daylight. He's taken down at the 30-yard line. Boobie Dixon. They brought him over from the Niners because of special teams work. He's worked his way into the rotation in the backfield, and he comes up with the block.
Well, they brought him in for special teams. You're going to see him power right through the left side of that Miami protection. That's the right wing right there, and you always, the first rule of punt protection is you always protect the inside, but you get the little up and under. Now all of a sudden, a swing in the game, and E.J. Manuel and this offense get a chance on the 31-yard line going in.
Give a little credit to Damian Williams, because if he didn't return that about 15 yards, it would have been way back. C.J. Spiller in the backfield on first down from the 31 for the Bills. The handoff goes to Spiller, running left, wrapped up from behind, and taken down almost immediately by Trusnick.
We see how big special teams are, and a big part of last week's game, the Miami Dolphins, was that very first drive of New England. They get a pump block, sets their offense up in great field position, and they go in and get a touchdown. So now for E.J. Manuel and the Bills, another chance here in the red area. They would really like to capitalize, and it feels a lot better when you get 6 or 7 points off of a turnover than just a field goal.
So he's got Watkins and Woods off to the right side. Chandler is tight ends on the left side of the offensive line. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. Lost it for Chandler, who makes the catch, but I believe he may have been out of bounds. Let's see. They'll confer. And he's out of bounds.
And one of the guys are trying to get involved, the big body of Chandler. And you see this ball is in pretty good position, just a little bit too far. And I think he might have got the little toe tap right there with both feet in bounds. They're going to have to take a look at this one.
That was an unbelievably athletic play. Trusnick did everything he could. It looks like he's gotten both toes down.
I think he might have. How's that for a 6'7", 260-pound tight end? Making a play for his quarterback on the sideline.
Red flag is out. They'll review this one. We'll give you the decision when we return.
Jump. Pass.
Buffalo on top 3-0. Cleve Lakeman, the referee, has conferred with New York, and now he's going to come out and render a decision on whether Chandler got both feet inbounds and had control on that pass play. Call on the field is an incomplete pass. They're moving the football.
After reviewing the play, receiver gained firm control of the ball with both feet down and back. Inside
22-yard gain. Mike Carey, our officiating expert. Mike, what did you see and what did the officials see after reviewing it?
All right, Tom, I think what you're seeing here is a great use of replay because it's clear that the receiver had control. Both feet got down, and when he went to the ground, the ball never came loose. And so that reversal is a really great use of the instant replay system.
All right, Mike, we appreciate that. You know, we were focused on the feet, but you're right. It's about the control going out of bounds, too. So it's first and goal from inside the 8. Manuel looking, scrambling, throws off his back leg and just throws it away. Mike Carey, of course, will be with us all season long, our officiating expert. Had a stellar career as an NFL official. Take a look at it one more time. Adam, this is unbelievably athletic.
Well, you better believe Doug Marrone and the offensive staff, they're going to show this. You know, these big guys, Scott Chandler, 6'7", big rumbling tight end. It's about as athletic as it gets. And I tell you, Jason Truncic, pretty good shape right there, but the throw and the catch was about as good as it gets.
So second and goal from the 8 for the Dolphins, up 3-0, 1:05 to play, first quarter. And the handoff to Jackson. Great defense by Odrick, the defensive tackle for the Dolphins. Boy, he smothered him.
And this is a zone read, and what they're trying to do is get E.J. Manuel to influence that defensive end, but they had a free safety down there, Jimmy Wilson, who was responsible for E.J. Manuel, and then that's why you see the running game get swallowed up by the defensive line.
All right, how about maybe a fade here to Mike Williams, who's on the inside. They talked about trying to get him involved in sort of the fade plays. Jackson's into the backfield. Watkins off to the far side. Manuel fades to the corner for Williams, incomplete. There was some contact, but it was overthrown. And Buffalo will have to settle for a field goal. Will Davis, the nickelback, in on the coverage.
Well, I see you, Tom, getting inside that Buffalo Bill playbook. Nice call. Yeah, good coverage down there by Will Davis. It's about as good as it gets. And, you know, for the second straight time here, Miami defense holding tough in the red zone. And when we talked to Kevin Coyle, their defensive coordinator, he said, look, we've been good here in the red zone. If there's one thing I want to improve on last week, New England was 2 for 2.
Carpenter from the 17. It's a 27-yard field goal, and it's good. So 22 seconds to play here in the first quarter, and Doug Marrone's team is on top 6-0. Well, we talk about the emotion surrounding this ball game. This has been an incredible week here in the city of Buffalo. You and I have been here for 3 days, and we've kind of sensed it. Jim Kelly announces that he is cancer-free, which everybody around the National Football League loved that. The Bills' prospective owner, the Pagula family, they're going to keep the team in Buffalo, and, of course, the Week 1 win in overtime. And now the home opener against the Dolphins. We were here early when Jim Kelly and his family walked out onto the field, Adam. It was incredible to see the reaction from the fans that were already here in their seats.
There's so much emotion here for the fans here at Buffalo, for the city of Buffalo. And look, I've had a chance to play here a couple times, and you hear how important it is for the Bills to stay here. But until you visit and you get a chance to be around the fans, be around the city, and the way they talk about Jim Kelly and everything that he's going through, and the fact that, yes, they got great news about the ownership, you start to really understand how important the Buffalo Bills are to this community.
Well, as Jim was addressing the crowd, he had to pause, of course, for a few moments just to get his emotions together. Dolphins will get it back. Coming up to field it is Jarvis Landry out of the end zone, and he trips at the 15. And they'll mark him down at the 17. Chris Hogan in on the special teams tackle for the Bills. All right, so 18 seconds left here in the first quarter. If you're Ryan Tannehill and the Dolphins, you're only down 6-0, even though the Bills have had some big plays in this first quarter.
Yeah, but you got to sustain something, and they haven't been able to prolong their drives, and they missed on one of their big opportunities to get an explosive play, something that they've been looking for. So for them, it's about getting this offense in rhythm. When we run the ball, let's run it, and when we pass the ball, let's get some production.
From the shotgun and the 17 of Miami. Third possession of the day for the Dolphins. Tannehill to throw. Throws to the far side. Pass complete to Wallace. Doing a little dancing before he gets out of bounds at the 35. Nigel Bradham in on the tackle along with Stephon Gilmore. Gain of 19. Well, that's the end of the first quarter. The score, the Bills 6, the Dolphins nothing. We'll return to Buffalo after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, Bill Lazor's the new offensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. He knows the numbers. His team 47 total yards, just 5 minutes 9 seconds time of possession in the first quarter. What do you think he's going to do differently in the second quarter, Adam?
Well, I would anticipate maybe try and go to the screen game, something this Buffalo defense kind of had a hard time with last week, and a big part of his offense.
Off the play fake, they find Clay out of the backfield, and he's tripped up for a loss of about 5 on the play. Aaron Williams. Follow all today's football action. Download the CBS Sports app now for lightning fast scores, breaking news, video, and more, all on your phone. Well, they wanted to get Charles Clay involved a little bit more, and Aaron Williams read that beautifully.
Great job of eye discipline, but getting him involved, you want to get him involved in the secondary, not behind the line of scrimmage, where the DBs can just tee off on it.
Second down and 15. Tannehill from the 30. Out of the shotgun, under pressure, Williams throws him down. Second sack of the day for the Bills.
Oh, what a game. What an inside presence by Kyle Williams. Right there again, this time against the left guard, using power, going to a dip and rip. And Ryan Tannehill doesn't have a chance. I mean, this, it's the game of one-on-one matchups. And they knew going up against this defense that they were going to have to win, but Kyle Williams so far having a heck of a day rushing the passer.
Loss of 10, loss of 15 on the first 2 plays of this drive. Play clock is down to 1. Tannehill gets it off. He's looking long. The pocket collapses, and he is thrown down. Another sack. Jerry Hughes gets into the mix.
Well, this is just a situation where Jerry Hughes just doesn't give up, and Ryan Tannehill holds the ball too long. Here you see Hughes on the outside, and he's working, he's hustling. He comes in with an up and under. They don't account for him, and down goes Ryan Tannehill. But that's one where that play clock, understanding the system, understanding that this defensive line is about to pin their ears back, got to get rid of the ball, and you cannot take a sack and punt out of your own end zone.
Loss of 11. It's 4th and 36 for the Dolphins. Fields' punt will be taken by McKelvin at the 41 of Buffalo, trying to find some daylight on the outside. He's knocked out of bounds. Damian Williams with the special teams tackle. Well, 3 sacks already for the Buffalo Bills in this first half. Everybody's getting involved on the defensive line. Three different players along the defensive line a year ago for the Buffalo Bills had 10 sacks or more. Jerry Hughes was one of those guys, and he picks up his first of the day. 3 sacks overall for the Bills. He'll take over after a punt first down from the 47. You see the average drive start for Miami, their own 17. Excellent field position for the Bills as Fred Jackson gets to the 49. They call themselves Scorpion, 4 of the smartest people in the world working together to fight threats against America. Inspired by a true story, Scorpion premieres Monday, September 22nd, only on CBS. Well, Ryan Tannehill was dropped 7 times last year in December, and he's already been sacked 3 times here today. Man in motion on second down and 8. Off the play fake. Manuel looking to throw. Looking to the middle of the field. Has Sammy Watkins Break it to the outside, out of bounds at the 21. Well, they wanted to get him involved. They've gotten him involved.
Yeah, he starts on the right side of the field. This is just a cross-country route. And the Miami Dolphins are trying to pass it off, but Sammy Watkins is able to flatten it out. E.J. Manuel hits him perfectly, so he can run a little bit after the catch. And the Buffalo Bills, again, moving down the field. I think you've got to be pretty impressed in the ball location and E.J. Manuel throwing the ball downfield, putting it in a perfect spot for his wide receivers to go get it.
On first down, it's an I formation. The handoff to Spiller, bounces outside, trying to get to the edge. Great pursuit by the Dolphins defense. Grimes in on the tackle. An update of the Cowboys game. Let's go to New York with JB.
Cowboys looking to bounce back from last week, Coach.
Yeah, going to answer the critics. DeMarco Murray, 3-yard touchdown run here, 83 yards in the first half already, and the Cowboys jumping all over the Tennessee Titans.
Bart was just excited watching the highlight, Coach. Back to Tom and Adam.
All right, JB, thank you very much. After last week's loss to the Niners, the Cowboys looking for a fast start. C.J. Spiller to the outside out of the backfield. 5 receivers for the Bills. To the middle for Watkins, and Manuel led him a little too much. I think Watkins might have been tied up a little bit, too. It'll be third down.
Yeah, I thought that he had him, though. Look at the middle of the field, how wide open this is. And you see Watkins, he kind of widens out the defensive back right there, and that's one of those that has to be a touchdown. Not very often you see the middle of the field down there in the red zone that open with a guy like Sammy Watkins, and that's one that E.J. Manuel for sure wants to have back.
All right, third down conversions. You see it up top, 3 for 6. They've settled for 2 field goals. It's third down and 9 from the 20. Manuel's throw is caught by Watkins, but he's going to be shy of the first down. Will Davis, the nickelback, in on the coverage. The fans would like the Bills to go for it, but Doug Marrone is confident in his kicking game, so he's going to send Dan Carpenter back out there for another field goal attempt.
Yeah, I can understand it's going to be pretty tempting, but so far I think the Miami defense has done a pretty good job of containing that running attack, so it's good to get to 3 points, get you a 9-point lead, and let your defense, which has been playing outstanding, get another crack at the Dolphins offense.
Dan Carpenter on for a 31-yard field goal attempt. Colton Schmidt is the holder. And Carpenter is a perfect 3 for 3. 9-0 Buffalo on top. 10:22 to play here in the first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bose, official sound of the NFL. McDonald's, official sponsor of the NFL. I'm loving it. And by New Red's Wicked Apple, refreshingly hard.
Well, back here at Buffalo, the Bills up 9-0. Doug Marrone's team has had 3 opportunities in the red zone, and they've settled for 3 field goals. 10:22 to play here in the first half. And the Dolphins will get the ball back. Damian Williams, the rookie, is back deep. And he's joined back there by Jarvis Landry, and Landry will just catch the ball and take a knee. This Thursday, your football week starts here when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tangle with the Atlanta Falcons. Big-time matchups go prime time. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network and CBS. Well, how about what happened last week with the Ravens and the Steelers? You talk about dominant from a Baltimore Ravens standpoint. They forced 3 turnovers and had the ball for 35 minutes.
You know, one thing I expected was the physicality of this rivalry in that football game. The thing I didn't expect is for the Baltimore Ravens to be in the end of the season form and completely dominate the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, Gary Kubiak took over as the offensive coordinator, and Joe Flacco looked like he was running his offense pretty nicely. Tannehill to throw on first down, incomplete. He threw it behind Mike Wallace. Ryan's had himself a difficult day. He's been pressured a lot. And you look at the numbers on the road against the Bills. Well, he's been sacked 10 times.
It's one of the things that Coach Philbin talked about last night is the fact that you didn't want to dwell on last year, but he pointed out we don't play Buffalo very good when we come here. They dominate us. We have a very difficult time on third downs, and they always seem to get pressure. So He wanted to see his football team come in here in a hostile environment and play well against this team.
Two tight ends in for the Dolphins. Sims is in along with Clay. Tannehill to throw. Passes dropped by Clay. Flags come in. Well, Clay had that one in his breadbasket, but he couldn't hang on. And now he's limping off the field.
And those are the opportunities. Last week, Ryan Tannehill.
53. 5-yard penalty. First down, Miami.
Penalties on Bradham, number 53. All right, so that's a point of emphasis. Beyond the 5 yards, no contact, and there was contact made.
Yeah, they're going to call that. That's something that they did want to make an emphasis on. But getting back to Charles Clay, you know, we talked about to Bill Lazor yesterday, Ryan Tannehill. It's all about opportunities. And when you get a chance, you have to be able to make those opportunities. And you know, Charles Clay, quiet game last week. He dropped the key third down in that game. Here he gets another chance to move the ball and another drop. So his receivers have to start helping Ryan Tannehill out a little bit.
Automatic first down from the 25. Tannehill out of the shotgun, and there was movement on the left side of the offensive line.
Delay of game. Offense.
But it was a delay of game before the movement.
You can't be happy if you're Joe Philbin, especially after a penalty when there's really not an excuse. And you got to wonder, does the crowd noise have something to do with this new offense, the new offensive lineman, and the communication between those guys and Ryan Tannehill?
Samson Sautelli is the center. He started his career with the Dolphins, went away for a few years. Now back as the center with Pouncey out with injury. Play clock is down to 5. On 1st and 15, he gets it off with 2 to spare. The ball is tipped incomplete.
Well, he didn't get a sack. The only member of this offensive line not to get a sack today, but Marcel Darius right there playing defensive tackle, reading that it's a 3-step drop, getting both hands up and batting down the pass. So again, the Miami Dolphins not being able to capitalize. And when you look at this defense, they're playing an extra safety down in the box. They're getting man-to-man coverage, and the Dolphins aren't able to exploit those matchups.
Hughes on the near side of that defensive line. Roby showing blitz from the near side. A quick toss to the near side. Pass is complete to Landry. And what a hit. Bradham lost his hat. An update in the New England Patriots ball game. Let's go to JB in New York.
Brady and Edelman.
Yeah, and this comes off the Darrelle Revis interception. Here, Julian Edelman, 9 yards out from Tom Brady, and they go up 17-7.
McCarthy and Archuleta. Back to you.
All right, JB. New England losing last week to the Dolphins. The Dolphins having a little trouble here with the noise. A 3rd down opportunity with 9.5 to play first half. 9-0 Buffalo, and the inside handoff to Miller. Not too much there. A gain of 2. Bradham with the tackle.
Boy, that crowd noise, Tom, as a defensive player in this type of an environment,
This is
so good. As you watch Bradham come in there from inside out. That's how you take care of a screen. Introduce a rookie wide receiver on what it means to play in the National Football League. So, but getting back to the crowd noise, I mean, it's one of the best feelings in the world when your home crowd is on their feet, they're cheering, you can't hear anything, and you make a big stop on 3rd down. McKelvin
back deep to receive. Yeah, this is a good hanging punt. McKelvin calls for the fair catch at the 25. 8:44 to play here in the first half. The Bills up 9-0. 3 field goals. Defense has been strong this afternoon. Week 2 continues later today on CBS, and for some of you on Fox. Then tonight with Sunday Night Football on NBC. And tune in tomorrow for Monday Night Football on ESPN. The Eagles and the Colts. Well, they've gotten Sammy Watkins involved here this afternoon, Adam, and he is electric. There's no question about it.
Yeah, point of emphasis and expecting him to have a breakout game. They hit him early on a 7 route, get him involved on another 3rd down conversion, then a nice connection down the field. And so Sammy Watkins playing through a little bit of pain today, some sore ribs, 4 catches, 72 yards. I'd say that's exactly what they were looking for to start this game.
Well, you mentioned that they wanted to surround E.J. Manuel with young talent. They certainly have done that. And Manuel dumps it off to his tight end, Chris Bragg, who runs up the sidelines to the 39. Jelani Jenkins knocked him out of bounds, a gain of 14.
You got to get your eyes right. And one of the things you see running against this offense is movement passes for E.J. Manuel. And they have several different ways that they run bootlegs. Sometimes he keeps it, but he's always going to try and find his tight end who's stuck behind the line of scrimmage. And a nice play on first down.
So the ball out to the 39. Bragg in motion out of the backfield on the offset eye. A little pitch going to Spiller running left. Trying to get to the edge. He gets a yard or two before he's knocked out of bounds. Jenkins again with the tackle for the Dolphins. All right, what are your thoughts on the linebacking crew so far for Miami? We know that they've been battling these injuries. How have these guys performed here this afternoon?
Well, when you talk about the running game, I think they've contained the Bills on the ground for the most part. You haven't seen any gash plays, explosive plays. Where you're going to see them play a part in this game is in the play action pass. Do they come up and do they expose them behind in between the safeties for E.J. Manuel to hit those intermediate routes?
Second down and 8. Manuel out of the shotgun. Pressure coming from the backside. He lets it go, and it's almost intercepted by Grimes, who wanted a penalty. Grimes covering Robert Woods.
He wants a penalty. This is just a good job in man-to-man coverage right here on Robert Woods. They're trying to run a curl route. He sees it, breaks on the ball. Ball not in the right location from Manuel. And Woods has no opportunity to catch that ball.
Interesting storyline with this secondary for the Dolphins. Grimes, Delmas, Wilson, Finnegan in order. Shippensburg, Western Michigan, Montana, and Sanford.
And they play with a chip on their shoulder, and they're aggressive.
A third down from the 41 to the far side. Incomplete. Knocked away by Will Davis, the nickelback. It'll be fourth down, and the Bills will be forced to punt the ball away.
That perfectly played by Will Davis. Too deep. He's responsible to be deep to short, and he's right there. Almost comes away with the pick. You're going to see him right there. Watch him as he sinks back. E.J. Manuel thinks that he has Sammy Watkins all alone in the corner, and a nice play to come inside and force the fourth down.
Jarvis Landry back deep to receive the punt from Colton Schmidt. Schmidt gets it off, a little bit of pressure. Landry comes running up, fields it at the 25, got a good running stop, and then he is shuttled out of bounds at the 34-yard line. 34-yard punt, 7:31 to play here in the first half. Ryan Tannehill of the Dolphins offense trying to get some things going toward the end of this first half when we return.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the all-new Chrysler 200, America's import. And by FedEx One Rate, simple flat rate shipping with the reliability of FedEx.
Well, Adam, did you provide that footage the other day after your visit to the Anchor Bar here in Buffalo?
It looked pretty tasty. I was looking forward to see what exactly a home-style buffalo wing tasted like, and I'm glad I did.
Well, it's first down. Mike Carey, our officiating expert, told us that the extracurricular activity at the end of that kickoff, or that punt, I should say, was a good no call by the officials. The inside handoff on first down and a gain of maybe 2 or 3, depending on where the pile stops. He also said that pass interference on the last series, watch this here, that this was just good defense.
And Robert Woods doing a nice job playing defensive back and preventing Brett Grimes from trying to get his hands on that ball.
Second down from the 35 of Miami. Ryan Tannehill has been knocked around in the backfield. One back set, receiver in motion. That's Rashard Matthews off the play fake. Tannehill's in trouble. He loses the ball forward, and it's complete to Lamar Miller. Well, I'll tell you what, Tannehill did a heck of a job getting rid of that football.
They were trying to hit the big ball, play action to Mike Wallace. You're going to see Wallace streaking across the field, but just a nice job by that secondary to shut it down, and that's what allowed the pressure to get to Ryan Tannehill. Watch how this secondary passes it off right there. You see Denoris Cersei not having any part of it.
Bradham was in on the pressure as well. He missed last week because of a suspension. He's played really hard this week. Pressure coming from the outside on third down. Play clock down to 1. Tannehill drops back to pass under pressure. Williams chasing him, trying to find something, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 35. He may have gotten 3 back on the play. Preston Brown, the rookie from Louisville, made the tackle.
Well, Mario Williams, the up and under. Watch this. Easy access to the quarterback. Not just an outside speed rusher, but the Dolphins' offensive line just drop him in coverage. And Ryan Tannehill doesn't have a chance to set up to throw the ball down the line of scrimmage. So after playing a brilliant game last week against the Patriots, struggling mightily against this Buffalo Bill defensive line.
Kelvin back deep to receive for the Bills. Fields has already had 1 punt blocked. This one's off the side of his foot. It bounces at the 35, and McKelvin lets it go out of bounds at the 31-yard line. 33-yard punt. 5:19 to play here in the first half. How about Tannehill? Was this a late hit or not here, Adam?
Well, those are close. Back when I played, that's perfect. You want to take every shot you can on the quarterback. So I say good job. I think in today's game, I think that's really close. You know, especially being a quarterback right there on the sideline. I wouldn't be surprised if I would have saw a flag right there.
First down for the Bills. I formation, the handoff to Spiller to the near side, and he's tripped up across the 35 at the 36. Louis Delmas. Excellent pickup for the Dolphins out of the Detroit Lions organization. He makes the tackle.
Yeah, one of the few times they've had more than 5 yards on a run, and it's because of their tight end, number 85, Lee Smith, doing a really good job at the point of attack, and that allowed him to get to the edge and get upfield.
With Chandler and Smith and Bragg the same, these guys are good blockers too for the Bills from a tight end standpoint. Pistol formation, handoff to Spiller, wrapped up immediately and taken down. Philip Wheeler. Gain of 1. Wheeler's playing with that cast on his hand. I know you've played with a cast before. How difficult is it to play with something like that on your hands?
Well, it's a lot easier for a linebacker or somebody who plays inside the box. But boy, when you get out there in space and you only have one hand and you got to play the pass and you got to tackle these great running backs in the open field, boy, that's very difficult to do your job correctly when you got a cast and you can't use one hand.
Third down for Manuel. From the 38, he's hit, delivers to Watkins, has a first down inside Dolphins territory to the 45 of Miami. Michael Thomas in on the coverage. A gain of 17. All right, they moved up 5 picks for this guy, and it's paying off today.
This is what he can do. You see the release off of press coverage, and he's able to run away from Will Davis. And E.J. Manuel right there with heat right there in his face. Stands right there in the face of it, puts it on Sammy Watkins where he can catch the ball and run after the catch. So another terrific third down conversion for Manuel in the Buffalo offense is Sammy Watkins feeling those ribs a little bit.
Quick toss, incomplete to Williams. Grimes in on the coverage. It'll be second down and 10. So 3:25 left to play here in the first half. Which of the Bills have had 3 opportunities and have settled for 3 field goals here this afternoon. Doug Marone's team has been doing a nice job getting the ball to Sammy Watkins, but Watkins still looking like he's feeling it a little bit over on the sidelines.
Well, you see the toughness because he keeps coming back, and that's one of the things that they praise him for, is the fact that he loves to work and that he is tough and he competes.
Timeout called by Buffalo. 4 on the play clock. 3:25 to play here in the first half. Coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a special preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and NFL Network. That's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. We'll also have an update on RG3 as well. Well, you talked about E.J. Manuel and his decision making and what he's been able to do. the coaches and even the players have talked about his ability to manage the game, and they love the fact that he wants to get better. You know, he's not just settling on being a first-round pick. He wants to get better.
And the key for him, and after talking to Doug Whaley, their general manager, is, hey, don't try to be an all-pro in one game. Go out there, use your weapons, take what the defense gives you, and just keep building upon that.
He'll throw on second down. He throws high, but it's caught by Williams. Cortland Finnegan in on the coverage for the Dolphins. Gain of 3, and it'll be 3rd down and 7. Fred Jackson checks back into the ball game for the Bills. So does Sammy Watkins. We haven't heard much from Cameron Wake so far this afternoon.
No, the rookie at right tackle, Chantrell Henderson, doing a pretty good job. The entire offensive line really doing a nice job of protecting E.J. Manuel and giving him time to throw the ball downfield.
3 receivers. Watkins was on the far side. Manuel thinking about running. He hasn't done this today, and he's out of bounds inside the 40. So it's going to be a manageable 3rd down for the Bills.
Yeah, one of the few times that there is a little bit of pressure on Manuel, but the secondary locking it down. They're trying to run away from man coverage, but really nobody there. You see Robert Woods is able to get behind just a little bit, but E.J. Manuel, because he has to run and escape the pocket, can't set up to throw the ball downfield and hit him.
Oh, it'll be a 4th down for Buffalo. And a timeout called by the Bills with 2:29 to play. The ball spotted at the 39 of Miami. 3 timeouts left for the Dolphins, 1 for the Bills. Saturday, the Home Depot SEC on CBS rocks when the Florida Gators tangle with the Alabama Crimson Tide. It all begins with college football today.
That should be a good one. How about the game last night on CBS with the South Carolina and Georgia?
South Carolina needed a win, and they pulled it out. They had the weather delays both teams had to deal with. Well, Doug Marrone's trying to decide whether he wants to go for a field goal or not. It looks as if he's going to punt the ball away with a 9-0 lead. They had Carpenter run out initially. It would have been a long field goal attempt for Carpenter.
Well, he hit a 50-yarder.
He did
last week, but in this situation, I don't know if you want to give the Dolphins good field position.
Jarvis Landry back deep to receive. And Landry calls for the fair catch. And he grabs it at the 11-yard line. So that's where the Dolphins will begin. 2:21 to play here in the first half. Well, we talked about E.J. Manuel. He's had a fairly effective first half. They haven't been able to punch it into the end zone just yet. They've settled for 3 field goals. We also mentioned that he's not sitting on his laurels. He wants to get better, and he spent his time in the offseason talking to different quarterbacks around the National Football League. He had a brief conversation with Drew Brees at the Super Bowl, talked about leadership and dealing with injuries. Robert Griffin III talked to him about dealing with that knee injury he had last year. Russell Wilson about spirituality and the read option. And Colin Kaepernick is a guy he's worked out with, and he's talked about a number of things, including about being mentally tough.
Yeah, one of the best ways to learn for a young player is by the veterans that he has around him.
Damian Williams on 1st down, and Williams with his best run up to the 17. Brandon spikes in on the tackle. So we've reached the 2-minute warning. Buffalo on top 9-0 as we wind down the first half here in Buffalo. Well, the Dolphins have not scored in Buffalo in 5 quarters, including here today. They trail at 9-0 with 2 minutes to play in the first half. Facing a 2nd down, Tannehill out of the shotgun, hands the ball off to Williams. Not much doing to the right side. He is able to fight his way up to the 20-yard line. Williams getting some reps because of the injured Noshawn Marino, who was injured very early in this game.
But it's tough running out there. The lanes, you have to fight for every single yard. And the Dolphins, who have been absolutely terrible so far today on 3rd down, have a 3rd and short that they desperately need to convert.
They haven't gotten the ball to Hartline yet. He's lined up on the far side on 3rd down of the shotgun. Off the play fake, Tannehill will keep it himself, and he slides forward for the 1st down. Well, they say they haven't done that all that much in the first couple of games, where he'll pull it from the belly of the running back, but they do it right there.
Well, it's got to be the exact right time because you don't want your quarterback to get hit, but a really good job of influencing the defensive end, Mario Williams, to come down with the running back, and Tannehill getting that much-needed first down.
First conversion on third down. They're letting a lot of time go off the clock here with 3 timeouts left. On first down from the 26, Tannehill out of the shotgun, hands the ball up to Miller running left. He stumbles, and now they're going to have to use a timeout. Searcy with the tackle.
And it's a nice reaction from Searcy. And that's what you want. They've been playing with him close to the box for most of the game, and the Dolphins haven't been able to capitalize on the one-on-one matchups on the outside. So that time they do run to the extra player, and Searcy is able to run from inside out.
I guess Joe Philbin is content with just running his time off here, Adam, because he has 3 timeouts left, and he's decided not to use them, and he keeps on running the football. Miller running to his left, shouldered out of bounds at the 35. Reminder coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Join JB, Tony, Bart, Boomer, and Coach Cower for all the latest NFL scores and highlights, as well as a special preview of Thursday Night Football on CBS and the NFL Network. It's coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report.
Well, Tom, you mentioned the fact that they're running the ball and time is running out right here before halftime, but I think if you're Joe Philbin, your offense has done nothing. So if you go down, try and go down the field, turn the ball over, give the Buffalo Bills good field position, that does nothing for your football team going into halftime.
Well, they're going to run out the final few seconds of this half as Miller comes across the 40. That's going to be the final play of the first half. All right, the Dolphins were down 10 points last week to the New England Patriots. They're down just 9 points here this afternoon. The Bills' defense has been solid. E.J. Manuel has been solid as well. It's the end of the first half. It's the Bills 9, the Dolphins nothing. We'll be back with the Verizon Halftime Report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Here at halftime in Buffalo, it's the Bills 9 and the Dolphins nothing. The Dolphins fortunate that they're only down 9-0 at this point as we get set to begin the second half in a few moments. Let's take a DirecTV Ultimate Picture Cam. The 2 Williams guys, Mario and Kyle, they had sacks. There's Kyle's sack right there. These guys, Jerry Hughes had a sack as well. These guys were active in the Dolphins backfield in the first half. Well, Adam, as we get it set for the second half to get underway, if you're the Dolphins, you're probably feeling pretty fortunate. You're only down 9-0 at this point.
Yeah, that's about as bad as the first half can go if you're the Miami Dolphins. Your last 7 dropbacks, you've gone for minus 22 yards. You lose Sean Moreno, which is a big blow to your offense in the first quarter to an arm injury. But you're right. After all the things that went bad in the first half, to be sitting here, 9 points is nothing in the National Football League. They still have a chance that they regroup at halftime. And they'll get the ball to begin the second half. Now, the Sean Moreno injury happened early on. It was his first opportunity to really run the ball. It was a nasty injury, and you see that left elbow sort of hyperextends as Nigel Bradham comes in there to make the tackle. And for a guy that was the spark and the focal point of their offensive success last week, to not have him in that offense, guys around him and Tannehill are going to have to step up and start to make plays of their own. All right, Joe Philbin's team will get the ball to begin the second half. So from Buffalo, we're underway, second half action. As the ball will be fielded a yard from the end line. Let's take a look at the first half statistics. And the Miami Dolphins will have it out at the 20-yard line. Adam, they haven't been in Bills territory yet today. It's been utter domination. But, domination on the Bills standpoint and then offensive futility on the Dolphins standpoint. And it reminds you to the game they played last year here in December when Miami had a chance to go and make the playoffs. So nothing has seemed to go right for the Miami Dolphins when they drop back to pass or in the running game. The offensive line is going to have to pick it up, protect Ryan Tannehill, and make some lanes for Lamar Miller. You just saw Bill Lazor, the offensive coordinator. They made some adjustments last week in the half. Let's see if they do it here as the second half is underway. Tannehill will throw. Passes completes to the outside. Mike Wallace covered by Corey Graham. Well, that's a good way to start the second half if you're the Dolphins. When you look at their passing game, that's the only route that they've been able to hit with consistency. Off coverage, against Mike Wallace on a little hitch or an out. Now, that's a good way to start the half, but you're going to have to get production from different players, different formations, different pass combinations if you want to move the ball down the field and score.
Wallace 7 catches last week for 81 yards and that touchdown that tied the ball game. The handoff goes to Miller running right, and he's got some daylight. And he's up across the 35. Well, Miami's first half possessions, this tells a lot of the story. Where they began 13, 20, 17, 20, 33 and 12, and all those punts. And again, as we mentioned, they're trying to get across the 50 for the first time today.
And it's been a combination of not only the Bills' defensive line and harassing Tannehill in that running game, but it's been the skill players' inability to come through with the big receptions of the plays when their number is called. So it's a combination of factors that has led to this offensive output.
Miller 8 carries so far this afternoon. Here comes the pressure. Flags come flying. They dump it off to Miller, and he gets to the edge and has a first down. There may have been movement on the right side of the defensive line for Buffalo.
Yeah, it could have been Jerry Hughes. He was shot out of a cannon right there. I think he got an extra jump. But a good job by Bill Lazor to put Tripp's bunch to one side, sealing off the defense, and then dumping off the swing pass for a good gain.
Again, the officials are conferring. They don't always need to get close to each other anymore.
Offside. Defense number 55 in the neutral zone at the snap. Penalties decline. First down.
Well, that's exactly what you said, Adam, right there. You saw him in the bottom side of that screen.
Well, 2 plays, 2 first downs, and that's a positive start for the Dolphins offense.
We're on the 49. They're 49. Just underway, second half. Clay and Sims, the 2 tight ends in the ball game for the Dolphins. Tannehill to throw on first down. A little bit of pressure, trying to get away. Has some time, throws complete to the far side to Clay. And for the first time today, and in a rather efficient way, the Dolphins are inside Bills territory.
Yeah, that was a good play by Ryan Tannehill. He was initially trying to go Clay at first, but he was covered up. You see the pressure here. You got to keep contained right there if you're Jarius Wynn. You keep contained, there's a possibility that you're going to get a sack, and Tannehill's not going to be able to escape the pocket and complete the ball downfield.
Inside the 45 of Buffalo, 2 receivers to the near side, including Hartline, who has not caught a pass today. Little pitch goes to Williams, running to the right, and Williams has a first down, a gain of 13 on the play. Preston Brown, one rookie to another. And Jerry Hughes.
Yeah, you see him attacking the edges. Earlier they had a swing pass to the left side. You know, Tannehill makes some plays. Finally gets into Buffalo territory, and a nice running play to the right side as he follows Shelley Smith around that right edge.
Well, there's an injured player. Stephen Charles is down on a knee. So 12:15 to play, third quarter, first drive of the half for the Dolphins. It'll continue when we come back. Ryan Tannehill of the Dolphins inside Buffalo's end of the field for the first time today. The ball spotted at the 38 of Buffalo on first down. Tannehill to throw, and it's complete to Wallace on the far side in front of Corey Graham. Well, they've made some adjustments coming out in this second half, and Tannehill looks very confident and very comfortable throwing right now.
The Bills like to play man-to-man coverage, and so what the Dolphins are doing, they're compressing the formation and trying to get the Bills in zone coverage. Hopefully that allows Tannehill to see his receivers better so he can deliver the football.
Handoff goes to Damian Williams, running right, nothing doing. He may have lost a yard or 2 on the play. Marcel Darius in on the tackle. So a loss of 2. It'll be second down and 12. Damian Williams, the rookie out of Oklahoma, getting a lot of reps because of the injury of Noshawn Marino. Off the play fake, Tannehill to throw, has Clay on the outside. Clay is one of the more athletic tight ends that you'll find in the National Football League. 69 receptions a year ago for 6 touchdowns. Only 2 catches last week against the New England Patriots.
And they said that, you know, they plan on him having a big game. as we approach third down here. Look for him to be a big target. Third wide receiver in from the left.
Dolphins need to get across the 16 of Buffalo. Pressure's coming. The punt fake from Tannehill to the middle. Pass is complete for Hartline, who has his first reception of the day, and he's got a first down.
A really good job by Tannehill. First option wasn't there. He was trying to hit Mike Wallace, and then Hartline, who's been quiet, only a couple of catches last week, here with a big third down grab.
Gain of 8 on the play. It'll be first down from the 15. Hartline, Wallace, and Gibson, 3 receivers. Tannehill to play, and Bradham pressuring. Aaron Williams also came up. Corey Graham, but a really good open field tackle by Aaron Williams.
And really, this is the kind of drive that Miami needed. They desperately had to get back and start winning the field position battle, get some confidence, get a chance to get in scoring position and get some points. You remember last week against the Patriots, they were down by 10 at halftime and 23 unanswered, stunning Tom Brady and the Patriots. Only down by 9 points, but they do need to get 6 points out of this drive.
3 runs, 7 passes so far. On second down, Tannehill to throw again. 8th pass of the drive, incomplete. Intended for Gibson. Corey Graham in on the coverage. Actually, it was Rashard Matthews who was the intended receiver.
Yeah, perfect coverage by Corey Graham, who got the start last week. You're going to see number 10 off coverage, out of his break, gets the left hand in there. It's about as good as it gets, playing man-to-man coverage from outside leverage.
There's a guy that was around when you were around playing.
Yeah, had a chance to play with him his rookie year in Chicago. He's had a nice career.
On this drive alone, 5 first downs. They can get another first down across the 5. It's third down and long for Tannehill. Has time, throws, incomplete. That time it was intended for Gibson, and he overthrew him and threw it behind him.
He had a chance. Gibson ran a really nice route, faking like he was going to the outside, a little pivot back to the inside. He's able to get open, and Tannehill missed him. Now, it wasn't at the first down marker, but if he hits him and gives him a chance to run after the catch, there's a good chance he falls forward for a couple extra yards, and you get first and goal inside the 10-yard line.
Caleb Sturgis on for the 34-yard field goal attempt. Brandon Fields is the holder. The veteran John Denny is the long snapper, and this one is good. So the Dolphins are on the board. 9:35 to play third quarter. It's a battle of field goals here in Buffalo.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Without a heart, it's just a machine. DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. And by the United States Marine Corps. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Well, you can get to Niagara Falls in about 25 minutes from downtown Buffalo. We didn't actually get there over the last few days. We decided to go to the Anchor Bar for some wings instead. But it'll always be there. It's 9-3 Buffalo on top. 9:35 to play here in the third quarter. And the Bills will get it back. Back deep to receive is Spiller on the near side. Along the numbers. Has some daylight. He could go. He's going to go untouched. Touchdown Bills. Two-yard kickoff return for C.J. Spiller.
This is a backbreaker, Tom. And the thing you notice, he barely even makes one cut. He's untouched, and he's downhill. And you give C.J. Spiller a running lane, and you don't make him change direction, and you allow him to kick it into fifth gear, that's what you're going to get.
Well, they drafted him out of Clemson. They drafted him for his athleticism out of the backfield and on returns. Boy, he was a burst of speed, an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Zone play, it's a touchdown.
(15-3) Buffalo, the point after. Dan Carpenter on to convert. Well, this place was electric before we arrived. It calmed down a little bit, but C.J. Spiller, well, he plugged it back in again, and it's electric again. Well, the normal person, I'm not sure what they would do after they ran 102 yards, but for C.J. Spiller, he's going to go on the bike to get some more cardio going and keep his legs loose. He's just given Buffalo a 16-3 lead with 9:23 to play here in the third quarter.
Yeah, what an answer.
Dolphins will get it back. It'll be a short kickoff. Landry will field it at the 14. He's going to have some room to return this up across the 35. No, Adam, break down this 102-yard return by Spiller.
Well, they've eliminated the wedge on kickoff return, but now look at these two wedge players and the blocks at the point of attack. That thing is blocked up. The Miami Dolphins trading man for man. Nobody getting off of blocks, and then at that point, you've got a kicker who's coming in there trying to make a tackle on a full speed C.J. Spiller. Beautifully executed and blocked up by the kickoff return team.
It's getting louder and louder here in Buffalo on first down. Tannehill to throw, middle of the field, passes complete. And inside Buffalo territory, it's Jarvis Landry, Nickel Roby in on the coverage. That was a very nicely thrown ball by Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, so far they've come out here in the second half, and they've been able to move the ball down the field. Good job of the play action, bringing up the linebackers, and hitting Jarvis Landry crossing the middle.
I don't know if the play clock reset or not. Game clock is counting down. Trips to the far side for Tannehill on first down from the 48 of Buffalo. Inside handoff to Miller, trying to get outside, and he does. Dives forward. Let's get an update from New York with JB. JB.
Coach, Boomer is supposed to be impartial, but
Watch Andy Dalton step right in this blitz, hits Mohamed Sanu. The DB goes for the pick, not the tackle. What about that, Anna Marcelletta? 76 yards, touchdown, Cincinnati Bengals, 17-3.
I'm sure. Oh, Tom and Adam, Boomer's going crazy. Back to you guys.
Second down and 3 for the Dolphins. Bills showing blitz from the middle. Tannehill, a little pump fake, trying to set up the screen, incomplete. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Matty Lawson over from the Cincinnati Bengals tipped that for the Buffalo Bills.
I'm surprised they didn't try and go to the screen game earlier in the game, just to try and get away from that pass rush. See a nice job by Jarius, went at the top, getting pressure. But again, for the second time today, the Bills' defensive line getting their hands up and breaking up the pass. I've got a third and short right here. One tight end set. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some sort of play action with play over the middle.
Play is lined up on the right side. Tannehill to the left side, and he threw it a little too high for Miller, who couldn't come up with it. Fourth down. They may go for it here on fourth down.
But it's the same issues that they didn't correct from last week. And Miller was all open in the flat. And Tannehill has a chance to easily put that ball in his hands. He doesn't do it. Then Miller can't come down with a catch, and you have to try and convert here on a fourth.
You like this ball?
I think you're trying to get a spark right here. You need to get your offense something positive going for your team. I do.
Well, they're going to talk about it as Tannehill burns a timeout for the Dolphins.
This will be his second.
A nod of the head from Joe Philbin. So Tannehill coming over to talk to Bill Lazor, the offensive coordinator. It's not too late to sign up. Play NFL.com fantasy football. Get free mobile apps and exclusive instant highlights. Sign in under 2 minutes and play for free at NFL.com/fantasy. Well, Mary Wilson, the widow of Ralph Wilson, here today. She was very emotional today, as you can imagine, when Ralph's name went up in gold on the Wall of Fame here in Buffalo. He's meant so much to the city of Buffalo, and she was in charge of the trust after Ralph had passed away. She's very happy that the Pegula family will eventually take over ownership of this team as this year moves on. It's 4th down for the Dolphins. Just outside the 41, Miller's in motion. Play clock at 10 as he gets the snap. Has time to the middle of the field. It's complete. Jarvis Landry for a first down for Miami.
Well, how about the rookie coming through in a critical situation, beating man-to-man coverage? Just an outstanding job of getting off the press, getting that small bit of separation. You're going to see Landry in the slot right there. And Tannehill puts it on him where he's able to make a contested catch.
Dolphins may have gotten away with a false start on that play, but an 8-yard gain. It'll be first down from the 33. Damian Williams in. He'll take the handoff from Tannehill. Flags come flying. And Williams powers his way across the 30. Down inside the 30, I should say. Jerry Hughes in on the tackle. Well, holding called on Samson Sautelli, the center. Mentioned that Sautelli is filling in for Mike Pouncey, the injured center. Yeah, it looked like he had Kyle Williams. First down and 20. In motion is Gibson for the Dolphins. Tannehill will roll the pocket, sets up the screen, and he tried to get a tight end screen to Deion Sims, but he threw it a little too long.
Yeah, it was there in the screen game, rolling out, trying to get the defense going to the left. You see Sims there alone. There's Buffalo defenders in the area, but boy, you just got to give yourself an opportunity and your guys an opportunity to do something with the ball in your hands. And it's the same thing that was happening to Tannehill last week against the New England Patriots.
9 completions in this quarter alone compared to 7 in the first half for Tannehill. Hughes may have jumped. It's a free play, and it's battered at the line of scrimmage. Well, you mentioned it before that Hughes got into the backfield pretty quickly. But he did it again.
It's one of those plays, though, if you're a quarterback and you're the Dolphins, you want to be able to capitalize and maybe throw the ball down the field and get a free play.
Hughes, number 55. Fifth-year pro out of TCU. See the penalties for both teams. 6 penalties combined. Got a pretty clean game. 6:33 to play, third quarter. Tannehill on second down from the 38. Pass is complete to the far side. Brandon Gibson makes the diving catch. But there is a flag on the field.
Looks like a little contact as Gibson came out of the break.
I don't know if he was ever touched when he went down. Well, the holding, I believe, Clete Blakeman is telling us, is on Nickel Roby or Corey Graham. Look at the far corner. Oh, yeah. It was away from the play. It was Corey Graham on Mike Wallace.
And in years past, they're probably going to let that one go. And that's one of the things that, you know, DBs get a tremendous advantage just when you get that small little tug on the jersey. And that's why the emphasis on holding and illegal contact, to get that part, that little grab, is what they're looking for.
Well, the officials are discussing where the ball should be spotted at this point. So they'll mark it off from the 38. Well, Adam, we talk about point of emphasis, and there are some of the numbers from week 1 of 2013 to 2014.
Boy, I tell you what, it's hard to play DB. You can't hit anybody. You can't hold anybody. Those offensive linemen have been cheating for years, and they don't make rules to hurt their game.
On first down, a quick toss to the far side to Matthews. And Matthews gets down to the 30. Corey Graham on the tackle. So a gain of 3. It'll be second down and 7. All right, I guess you could say these first 2 drives for the Dolphins. Now this one's aided a little bit by the penalties. They've been much more efficient in the first half.
Yeah, they were awful in the first half, and now, you know, they're having some success attacking the edges in the run game, getting the ball out quickly in the passing game.
Handoff was given to Miller. He started left and then stepped right. And he's down to the 26. Lamar Miller and Damian Williams are the tandem today for the Dolphins. No Sean Marino was injured early in this ball game. He injured his arm. He went to the locker room. We haven't seen him since. DJ Manuel keeping his arm warm. Time of possession went to the Bills in the first half. Not so much here in the third quarter.
Yeah, tight formation. Look for little quick outs.
Tannehill on third down. Pass is complete to Hartline for a first down inside the 20 to the 19. So a gain of 7. Aaron Williams with a tackle.
And this is one of the things that bunch formations do. They get you out of man coverage in a third and short. Now you have a linebacker inside, Preston Brown. Hartline gets right behind him, and they pick up the first.
Hartline's second reception of the day. And Miami moving the ball again inside the 20. Damian Williams in the backfield. Tannehill to throw. Pass complete to Williams. Flags come in. Preston Brown with the tackle. They'll give him forward progress down to the 17.
Holding. Fan. 24. Automatic first down.
Stephon Gilmore is called for the hold for the Bills.
And another defensive holding has helped the Miami Dolphins here on this drive. And the Dolphins also doing a good job making on their third down conversions. I tell you what, the other thing they're doing a good job of, Tom, is they've neutralized somewhat the Bills' defensive line. You haven't really heard that front four, their name being called too much in the second half.
Handoff goes to Williams up the middle inside the 10 down to the 8. Can you notice anything different that they're doing? Is it just the Tannehill's getting rid of the ball quicker? Is that what it is?
Yeah, and they're working the edges. The running game outside of this last run, which was an inside zone, they're trying to get outside, trying to run away from those big players on the Bills' defensive line. And he's getting the ball out of his hands quickly. A lot of quick passing game to try and neutralize that pass rush.
Well, into the red zone for the first time. You saw their numbers from a season ago. They've been helped out with 3 penalties on this drive, but it's been an extended drive. It's second down. Tannehill fades to the corner for Wallace. It's a one-handed grab. Touchdown. What a grab by Mike Wallace. A 7-yard touchdown pass.
That's a thing of beauty. Stephon Gilmore, press coverage. They're both competing, and these are the catches that Mike Wallace has to make. The body control, the concentration, reaches out there on the right hand, comes down inside the end zone. And just like that, the Miami Dolphins are right there in this game.
Well, they have handled time of possession in this quarter, partly because of Spiller and his 102-yard return. Mike Wallace with a touchdown reception, the 39th of his career. Sturgis on for the point after. And it's a one-score game. What a grab by Mike Wallace. He said last week if we had hit each other on time, we could have scored 50 points. Well, this was all about him right here.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Just for Men Mustache and Beard. Just you and the look you want. And by Verizon XLTE on America's largest, most reliable network.
Survivor is back with an all-new set of castaways competing against their loved ones for $1 million. Survivor premieres Wednesday, September 24th, only on CBS. 16-10, Buffalo on top thanks to a 7-yard touchdown pass to Mike Wallace. Catching his breath a little bit, getting stretched out. Captain 11-play, 64-yard drive for the Dolphins. C.J. Spiller has caught his breath, so he's back deep to receive for the Bills after his 102-yard touchdown return. This one, they make him run to the far side, but he's not going to field it. Instead, Dixon will run up across the 20. So Boobie Dixon to the 22. 3:08 to play here in the third quarter. The Dolphins and Mike Wallace have made this a ball game. Well, let us reintroduce you to the Buffalo Bills offense. It's their first snap of the second half. E.J. Manuel out of the shotgun. See the difference in plays. The Dolphins are 23 this half, but it's partly because of Spiller, who gets the first touch of the day in the second half offensively. And he's out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
No, but it's interesting to see how sharp they are because, you know, we're talking about they haven't seen the field in more than a half of an hour. And their defense has been out there quite a bit. So can E.J. Manuel get back in sync? Can they run the ball a little bit and hopefully eat up a little bit of clock? Because their defense has been on the field an awful lot so far in this second half.
Yeah, give a lot of credit to the Miami offense for being able to figure some things out on their offensive end. Here's Chandler, his second catch. And he's across the 35 to the 36. Jimmy Wilson in on the tackle.
Now, those plays are tough, you know, when they line up a tight end or a running back on one side of the formation and then get the flow going, sneak him in behind and hit that guy in the flat. Just got to be real disciplined if you're the outside linebacker to that side.
How much harder as a guy in the secondary is it to cover a tight end compared to a regular receiver?
It just depends. They just have so many different skill sets. You got to work with speed and skill with wide receivers. Those tight ends really good at using their bodies.
There's Spiller, speaking of good, using his body inside Dolphins territory. Inside the 20, shoulders his way to the 15. You want to talk about having an all-purpose yard day. C.J. Spiller's doing just that.
How about the rookie Chantrell Henderson? Watch this. The block right there, and there's no secondary support. You see the job right there. He pushes Cameron Wake out of the way. Beautiful cut by C.J. Spiller. Great job of making Brent Grimes miss in the secondary. And again, C.J. Spiller, the spark, the catalyst, the guy here in the second half for the Bills.
47-yard gain. Jackson in. He bounces to his left. Nothing doing there. All right, well, you mentioned Cameron Wake. We talked to him yesterday. And he said he had a game plan for the rookie offensive lineman, but it doesn't seem to have worked, at least up to this point.
You would have thought that before this game that was a big storyline really on both sides. Two rookie right tackles against prolific pass rushers, but the Bills doing a really good job of neutralizing it. And look, for the most part, it's been Henderson one-on-one with little help, and he's done a marvelous job so far here today.
He has Chandler on that side of the line with him right now, the tight end. On second down, Manuel fakes the handoff. He'll keep it himself. Has a block from Watkins. And Manuel out of bounds inside the 15 to about the 13. Cortland Finnegan in on the tackle. And we're under a minute to play here in the third quarter. A third quarter dominated by time of possession from Miami, but also by C.J. Spiller.
And that's been the reason why Buffalo has only scored 9 offensive points. They've had good timing, good precision in the open field, but the timing just quite hasn't been there between Manuel and his receivers in the red zone.
Jackson remains in the backfield, and that's the second pass inside the red zone completed. This one to Watkins. Did he get the pylon? He got the pylon. Touchdown, Buffalo. Grimes tried to stop him. It looks like his foot is in and the ball is on the pylon before it spins out.
Well, you see Robert Woods, he got a good angle doing his impersonation of an official. But what a drive for the Buffalo Bills to answer the Miami Dolphins.
Well, the Bills hope they see this a lot. Sammy Watkins into the end zone. Look at that. He's got the pylon. The ball is out. The foot is in bounds. Touchdown, Buffalo. 12-yard touchdown reception for Watkins. His first. Carpenter on for the point after. And the Bills answer. 6 plays, 73 yards. Mary Wilson and the Wilson family, they love what they've been able to watch here this afternoon. 13 seconds to play here in the third quarter.
Well, a nice job by Nathaniel Hackett designing that play, and Sammy Watkins supposed to be a big part of this offensive game plan. The first-year player is able to get in the end zone.
Mike Carey, our officiating expert. All right, Mike, we just saw Watkins go after the pylon. Did everything look good on that particular play?
That was very tight. Where you could see clearly that the foot was in bounds, but what you could not tell clearly, did he maintain complete control of the ball before it broke the plane? And you just can't tell enough when that ball came loose. Had it already broken the plane, or was it loose prior?
It's a good point.
Can't tell.
Yeah, it's a good point. As we watch here, you're right. His foot is in, but does he have complete control? It is difficult to tell. It's one of those that's too difficult to kind of overturn if you're back in New York.
Correct. So whatever the ruling on the field is, that will stay.
All right, Mike, we appreciate that. It is 23-10, Buffalo on top. The Dolphins will get it back. Landry, he is nailed at the 12-yard line. What a hit. Robert Woods with that tackle. Well, we talk about conclusive and inconclusive, Mike, and as you said, the call on the field was a touchdown, and because there wasn't conclusive evidence to overturn this touchdown, they have to stay with it.
You have it right on the point, Tom. That's exactly what has to happen. Not conclusive evidence one way or the other. So whatever the ruling on the field was, that would stand.
I think it's interesting watching the officials. There's a lot of activity going on, so they've got to move with the bodies moving, and they have to stay focused and keep their concentration on that particular play. This one is blown dead.
You only get a little window. The official was on the right spot at the right time, so he had the best look of anyone. So we think we got a good one here.
False start called against the Dolphins. And as we mentioned before, Mike, of course, has been with us through the first couple weeks. Will be with us through the rest of the regular season. Will be with us through the rest. Mike, we do appreciate your time as always. It's nice to have you aboard here on CBS. 9 seconds to play here in the third quarter. Joe Philbin's team down 23-10. First down and 15. Tannehill from his end zone. Pass complete to Hartline on the far side. The end of the third quarter, the score, the Bills 23, the Dolphins 10, thanks to Sammy Watkins. We'll return to Buffalo after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Counting the postseason, this is the 101st meeting between Miami and Buffalo. Most folks say this is the biggest home opener in Ralph Wilson Stadium history. And the Bills are living up to the billing. They're up 23-10. Tannehill has that swatted away by Bradham. As we begin the fourth quarter, along with Adam Archuleta, I'm Tom McCarthy.
Well, those plays are so important. Those swats, play action pass. He was trying to get to Mike Wallace here at the bottom of the field, bottom of the tape. And he probably would have got it off of the play action pass, but Bradham with great timing gets the left hand up and bats another pass.
That's the fourth batted ball this afternoon by the Bills defense. On third down, Tannehill to throw, and Miller can't hang on. Pressure was coming from Mario Williams.
Yeah, but you got to have it, Tom. I mean, third down, you need it. It's right there. You're going to see him come out of the backfield on a little angle route. That ball is right there. You got to catch that, and you might still be running. So how many times we've seen this in the first 2 weeks of the season? Drop balls, missed opportunities, and that's exactly what Bill Lazor and Joe Philbin were talking about last night in our meetings.
McKelvin back deep to receive. Fields on the punt. He's had one punt block today. Gets that one off, but it's off the side of his foot for the second time today. We've got an injured Dolphins player as they mark that ball on the 48 of Miami. 29-yard punt. And Seamster is the injured player. Sammy Seamster, one of the backup cornerbacks. 14:46 to play here in the fourth quarter. Buffalo up 13. We'll be back after this.
You are watching the NFL on CBS.
Sammy Seamster, the rookie out of Middle Tennessee State, walked off the field. They're checking, it looks like his shoulder right now, so we'll give you an update as soon as we get one. It's first down for Buffalo. E.J. Manuel out of the shotgun, a little play fake, pass complete to Watkins. This has been kind of a coming out party for Sammy Watkins here this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly the kind of day that you want to see from him. Just a simple flat slant combination, and E.J. Manuel finds him.
They talked about Watkins not being happy early on with his route running, so he came in early, 6:45 in the morning during the preseason to work on just route running where his feet should be. They dump it up to the near side for Woods, and Woods follows Watkins' block inside the 35. Adam, how important is just route running from a receiver standpoint, setting aside athleticism?
It's one of the hardest things that I think a young wide receiver has to learn in the league, because somebody with his skill set who's so fast and so quick, they don't have to worry about that with these college corners. But the NFL corners in this league do such a good job, and there's absolutely no way you're going to be able to get separation if you're not able to perfect your route running. Jared Rice was the best example of all. Not the fastest, but got separation better than anyone.
And now it goes to Spiller, who's knocked down at the 32-yard line. Trusnick in on the tackle along with Randy Starks. Well, we haven't said a whole lot about Starks and Cameron Wake here this afternoon for the Miami Dolphins. It's a credit to the Bills' offensive line, because Cameron Wake is just outstanding, and he's been quiet today. Second down and 8. Hand off to Jackson. Across the 25, make that Spiller. And he's inside the 25 for a first down.
Well, the right side of the offensive line, the push. Watch the push right here. That you're going to get up inside. Beautiful cut. The vision inside. I mean, just a perfectly run play by the Bills offense.
So the ball sits inside the 25 to the 23 of Miami. Off the play fake, Manuel to throw. Watkins again. And he's down close to the 15. Jamar Taylor in on the tackle.
Again, this is just a quick play action pass. And you see Sammy Watkins has the one-on-one coverage. I'll tell you, for the most part today, anytime we've seen Watkins, especially on the underneath crosser, as he limps off the field right there, he's been able to separate and run away from the defender that's covering him.
Daniel now with 193 yards passing. Tannehill's waiting for another opportunity. His team down 13. And Spiller up the middle, smothered after a gain of 1. Randy Starks in on the tackle. Sammy Watkins, we saw him limping off the field after this catch. See anything there, Adam?
It doesn't look like anything. Doesn't look like anything of consequence. You know, we know that he's been battling some rib issues. I'm not sure why that would make him limp. But what a day, what an afternoon. 8 catches, 117 yards for the 4th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft.
3rd down and 2. Jackson in the ballgame. He'll take the handoff, and he tries to lean forward for first down. Trusnick, though, makes the tackle for the Dolphins. How about the way they described Trusnick? They said from head to toe, he's just effort. Every bit of his body, he is just effort.
Yeah, you can see by the way he plays.
Joe Philbin said that he came to him this offseason and said, hey, Coach, I want to be known as more than just a special teams player. I want to be known as a guy that can be in there all the time. He played 90 snaps last week. Dan Carpenter on for a 32-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hold. Kick is on its way, and it is good. Buffalo extends its lead. 10:32 to play here in the 4th quarter. Doug Marone's team up 26-10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company and the first ever MKC. The new Samsung Galaxy S5. The next big thing is here. And by the new Dollar Cravings menu at Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Buffalo on top 26-10. 10:32 to play here in the 4th quarter. This Thursday, your football week starts here when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tangle with the Atlanta Falcons. Big-time matchups go prime time. Thursday Night Football on NFL Network and CBS. Well, Atlanta's Matt Ryan had an unbelievable day against the New Orleans Saints. How about 448 yards and a 72.1% completion percentage?
Yeah, he's on fire right now, and boy, it just feels good to have divisional games on Thursday night. Just the atmosphere, the competition, the importance of those football games. Should be another good one.
Right now, the Bengals are leading the Falcons. That game is on CBS, of course. The kickoff will go out of the end zone. Landry has no chance to return it. So the Dolphins down 16 with 10:32 to play here in the 4th quarter. We'll have it 1st and 10 from their 20. All right, no reason to panic at this point if you're Ryan Tannehill. It's a 2-score deficit counting 2 two-point conversions. But you see his numbers in the 2nd half compared to the 1st.
They've been able to make some drives here in the 2nd half, but they haven't been able to push the ball downfield. And they still have to get explosive, create those big plays, something that was their goal coming in here. They need it in this half.
We'll keep an eye on Marcel Darius, who is leaving this field, going to the locker room. That's a huge story for the Bills. Williams initially hits Manuel and then allows Manny Lawson to wrap him up, but it's a gain of 5 for Ryan Tannehill.
Well, it's a good job by Tannehill, but this is a hit. You don't want your quarterback to take Manny Lawson, decks him right there, helmet to helmet. That's a big guy, 6'5", 240 pounds.
I always liked Manny Lawson when he played for the Bengals. I thought he was a pretty good asset to that defense. 2nd down and about 5. Tannehill out of the shotgun from the 25. Pass is complete to Charles Clay, out of bounds, and has a 1st down in front of Williams.
It's still more of the same, Tom. It's still, you know, that quick passing game, and I think if you're the Bills, you're content with this. You want them to dink away. You want them to run time off the clock. You want to be able to stiffen in the red zone, make them execute consecutively on play after play. But again, the Dolphins have to be able to push the ball down the field.
They get to the 32 on that 7-yard pass play. Tannehill's pass is complete to Hartline on the far side. It's his third reception of the day. Brian Hartline, who this past week reminded everybody that last week's game against the Patriots was only one game. They have to back off a little bit and realize they did some good things, but it was only one game. Second down from the 37. 4 receivers in for the Dolphins. Tannehill looking to throw again to the near side, and it's incomplete. Rashard Matthews was the intended receiver. Corey Graham in on the coverage.
It brings up another 3rd and 5, and when they have been able to have success in this half, they've converted on this down and distance. But second opportunity, the ball was a little bit high, but still an opportunity to come down in bounds with the catch.
Yeah, there have been a handful of those here this afternoon. It's not an official stat, but the drops have been a big deal for the Dolphins.
Miller has been the guy on 3rd down in the second half.
Tannehill to the middle of the field for Clay. Now that's a good catch right there. Preston Brown was in on the coverage, and Clay using the strength of his hands to reel that one in.
Yeah, Preston Brown, this is good coverage. Inside, you're going to see 52 and Clay crossing the field, contested. You see Brown try and get a hand in there, and there's a concentration you need to be able to come down with that catch.
We understand that Marcel Darius is having some cramping issues today. That's why he's out into the locker room. Tannehill to throw, and Graham knocks it away. That was nearly intercepted by Corey Graham. He had one last week. It was intended for Rashard Matthews.
I thought that was going to be an interception. It looked like Corey Graham didn't expect that ball to be there, because if he did, he would have tried to get 2 hands on it. Just reaches, and that's right there in the in the wheelhouse. That could have been an easy pick.
Second down for Tannehill. He needs to get into Bills territory for a first down to the 47. And he slings it to the far side. It's complete to Hartline. We mentioned this is the 101st meeting between the Dolphins and the Bills. Think about the 70s when the Dolphins had a 20-game winning streak against the Bills. Those years when Kelly and Marino battled each other 18 times during the regular season. That's why this is such a big rivalry. 3rd down and 5. Miller. And he's close to a first down inside Bills territory. Kyle Williams and Preston Brown make the tackle. This is going to depend on the spot. And Miller's kind of slow to get up.
Well, that's a gutsy call on 3rd and 5. When you really haven't had much of a running game, and it's close to being a first down, but.
Well, they've already lost Noshawn Marino. We talked about Noshawn in the open and how good he was last week against the Patriots. He's been out since the first quarter, and now you have Lamar Miller, who's their starting back essentially, who's down after that run play. And they're checking his right leg, his lower leg. Damian Williams, the rookie out of Oklahoma. And they're measuring, and he's about a little less than a yard shy of the first down. Damian Williams, the rookie out of Oklahoma, has been getting a lot of reps, the 22-year-old. And you see Miller walking off. Hopefully that's just a cramp right there for him too, and he's able to get back out there.
Yeah, but it's hard to have your 2 starting running backs out when you need to pick up a 4th and short here in the 4th quarter to get back in this game.
Does Tannehill keep this one, you think? Or what do you think is going to happen for the Dolphins?
I think he's going to run it. I think he's going to hand it off and try and power it in. Damian Williams, 5'11", 221 pounds. If they're in shotgun, I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of a zone read or quarterback keep scenario.
Williams shifts in the backfield on 4th and a little less than a yard. Tannehill will keep it himself, but he is wrapped up and taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Denoris Searcy.
Oh, what a great play. by Denoris Searcy. 4th and 1, quarterback keep, and the strong safety makes a big play for the Buffalo Bills.
Denoris Searcy tackling Ryan Tannehill in the backfield will give the Bills the ball on first down from the 48 of Miami. And a handoff on the first play. Well, this is a great stop by Searcy. Adam, and you talked about it, that Tannehill may keep it himself.
This is an exceptional play. Tannehill is going to try and keep it, but watch Searcy, and he beats the crack blocks and just takes off and makes the play behind the line of scrimmage for the big 4th down stop. I mean, that's as good as it gets. Tannehill, if Searcy's not there, Tannehill goes around the corner and he may score. But just a great play by Searcy, who understood the situation, makes the play, gives his offense back the ball, and stops that Dolphins drive.
All right, so under 7 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Buffalo with the ball. Handoff goes to Spiller, and Spiller is wrapped up by Olivier Vernon. What a play by Vernon.
One of the few times that we've been able to call his name. And look, I don't want to gloss over the fact that of the kind of game that E.J. Manuel had so far today, Tom. You know, C.J. Spiller with the big special teams and the big run. Sammy Watkins, but E.J., 16 of 25 so far in this game. 72% again for the 2nd week in a row. 202 yards and a touchdown. So the key for him was to build off of what he did last week. Don't take any steps back. I think so far in this game, he's moving along at the progression that this coaching staff would like to see.
And a lot of weapons around him, and he's utilizing all those weapons. 3rd down and long. Manuel's trying to set it up for Jackson. He just dumps it away. The pressure was there by the Dolphins. Odrick, Wake were both in the backfield. And it'll be 4th down, so the Bills will have to punt it away. Jarvis Landry back deep to receive. Colton Schmidt on the punt. There's Landry. This will be the 4th punt of the day for Schmidt. Dolphins are setting everybody in to try to block this one. After the first 3 and out of the day for the Bills. Landry looks at the coverage, fields it, and fumbles it. It's a loose ball picked up by the Bills. Inside the 10-yard line. Randall Johnson, one of the backup linebackers, gives the Bills excellent field position.
Yeah, rookie mistake. Not only does he have him up, but he goes back to catch the ball inside of the 10-yard line. Lets the ball get into his face mask. And special teams, one of the stories in this game, block punt earlier, C.J. Spiller with an electrifying kickoff return, and then another turnover here on the muff punt by Jarvis Landry.
Well, we saw the run in by Searcy, and you see the reaction by Colton Schmidt. And with 5:45 to play here in the 4th quarter, the Bills on top by 16 could try to ice this game right here. It's Jackson as the deep man behind Summers, the tight end, or the fullback, excuse me. The handoff to Summers right up the middle. And inside the 15 to the 14, Earl Mitchell makes the tackle for the Dolphins.
Tom, going back to that last muff punt by Jarvis Landry, it's not a touchdown because he didn't have possession of the ball, so it's a muff. So as soon as the ball is recovered, is essentially down by contact.
Yeah, that's why they spotted it where they did on 2nd down. A handoff to Jackson running right, and he is hit at the 15 and dropped at the 14. So no gain on the play. Mitchell again. Olivier Vernon also in on the tackle, so under 5 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter.
Well, Doug Marrone, you're looking at your football team here after 2 weeks, and you're kind of, as this game has been able to develop, just kind of a team deal. Defensively stepping up, offense, and then when you get that kind of a contribution from special teams, it's hard to lose those games. And if you're Miami, it's hard to win those games. And usually you're going to find yourself in the exact position that you're in.
The handoff to Mitchell again, running left on 3rd down. I should say Fred Jackson, and he is down to the 12. Jenkins makes the tackle. It'll be 4th down, and the Bills will attempt another field goal. And a timeout called. 4:19 to play here in the 4th quarter. All right, let's give you a little lowdown on why the Bills have a 26-10 lead. We'll take a look at our game summary. Adam talked about turnovers, and this is a big play right here. No Sean Marino going out in the 1st quarter.
Yeah, that was a nasty one. He was their bell cow, and then C.J. Spiller took over to start the 2nd half. Mike Wallace tried to answer with a spectacular catch. Sammy Watkins continues his excellent day for his 8th catch of the game here this afternoon. And then the story's been special teams and turnovers and a pretty efficient day by E.J. Manuel.
All right, Carpenter on for a 31-yard field goal attempt with 4:19 to play here in the 4th quarter. Carpenter's had himself an excellent day also. It's snap, good hold, kick is on its way, hits the upright, and it is no good. So this remains a 2-possession ball game with 4:15 to play here in the 4th quarter. Well, take a look. Everything worked out fine until left the foot of Carpenter. It hits the left upright and shoots down. So it's 26-10. Joe Philbin says, hey, we still have a fighting chance with 4:15 to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway Restaurants. Fuel your training routine at Subway. Subway, train hard, eat fresh. And by Progressive, comparing rates to help you save. Now that's Progressive.
Well, the Dolphins will get it back, and Landry, who muffed the punt earlier off his face mask. Here it is right here, right off the face mask, and it was picked up by Randall Johnson. And that's where Randall Johnson fielded it, so he can't return it. And then a missed field goal follows, so no extra points for the Bills, and the Dolphins will get it with 4:15 to play. They have 1 timeout left. Tannehill to throw. Breaks away from pressure, but then is wrapped up and taken down. Kyle Williams. And Stephon Charles.
Yeah, what a nice job again for this defensive line. Stephon Charles coming from that right side, getting to Ryan Tannehill for the first time in the 2nd half. The offensive line failing to protect Tannehill.
With some credit to Wynn, he was there as well. The pass to Clay out of on the 2nd down from the 15, and Clay is knocked out of bounds. Duke Williams in on the tackle, and it's up to the 27. 3:41 to play.
Those quick outs, the Bills defense, they'll give that up all day long. I mean, that hasn't threatened them, it hasn't hurt them. Defensive backs can stay back and not let anything get over their heads.
Remember, the Dolphins have just 1 timeout left. Tannehill from the shotgun on 3rd down, looking to the middle, and it's incomplete, intended for Hartline. Bradham was underneath. I thought maybe he got a piece of it.
It was close. You know, Bradham, a nice job in pass coverage. Dropping back in zone, reading the eyes of Tannehill. Tannehill trying to throw right through him, but he had pretty good coverage on the back end by the free safety, Jimmy Wilson, as well on top of that route, which forces now this part of the ball game for the Dolphins in their own territory to go for it on 4th and 4.
4th down and 4. They need to get across the 31 to keep this drive alive and keep their hopes alive. Tannehill looking left, throwing left, has Hartline, and it's incomplete, knocked away by Aaron Williams, and the Bills will take over on downs.
A great play by the free safety, Aaron Williams. You're going to see him at the top right there, reading Brian Hartline, cutting up underneath and breaking up that pass. These defensive backs have just done a job today on these Miami wide receivers. They've given up some short stuff, but for the most part, they've locked them down, haven't been able to let them to develop anything deep, and have just played a smothering brand of pass coverage.
Well, that'll give the Bills the ball on the 27. Again, Miami has just 1 timeout left. 3:32 to play here in the 4th quarter. Fred Jackson is the tailback Frank Summers is the fullback. Standard I formation for the Bills on first down. Drag the tight end in motion. Jackson takes the handoff, runs left. And he's down to the 25, a gain of 2. Mitchell with a tackle. Well, we mentioned Joe Philbin only has 1 timeout left. When do you use that timeout?
I think you've got to use it rather quickly because the Buffalo Bills are just going to be content of trying to smash this thing down the field. You're down 16, another field goal going to greatly hinder your chances of you coming back in this ball game.
Well, there's just really nothing the Dolphins can do at this point with just the 1 timeout. The play clock is winding down, and Manuel, game management is so important. He's just going to milk it for as long as he can. Same formation, play clock down to 2. And the handoff inside goes to Summers right up the middle, moving the pile down to the 20. It'll be 3rd down. Well, the Miami coaching staff talked about how difficult it's been for their team coming up here to Buffalo, but even overall, Joe Philbin and Ryan Tannehill both have struggled.
Not only have they not been able to beat Buffalo, but they play so poorly. Is I think the story. The fact that they just can't seem to get out of their own way anytime they come up here and play the Bills.
Manuel will keep it himself, and he dives forward, and he's not going to get the first down. He'll get to the 20, maybe the 19. Delmas with the tackle. So we've reached the 2-minute warning here in Buffalo with the Bills on top by 16.
Well, here we are. Buffalo Bills up 26-10. Under 2 minutes here in the 4th quarter. 4th and 3, and they bring out Dan Carpenter for the go-ahead field goal. And I think it's the right choice, trying to make sure that this is a 3-possession ball game for the Miami Dolphins to try and come back from.
He just missed one a few minutes ago off the upright. Not this time. So it is now a 3-possession game. Buffalo on top 29-10 with 1:54 to play here in the 4th quarter. So time is not on the side of Ryan Tannehill and Joe Philbin. Coming up next, the action rolls on as the NFL on CBS brings you the Chiefs against the Broncos, plus the Jets taking on the Packers, or the Texans and the Raiders. Check local listings. That's again coming up on CBS. Kansas City and Denver. See if Kansas City's able to bounce back after their first week loss. And Denver to see if they can continue to roll along like they were in the first half of that game against the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe not so much the second half.
Man, it's a tough team to have to try and bounce back against. Going up there and trying to play the Denver Broncos. I know it's going to be very difficult for Andy Reid to try and avoid that 0-2 start.
Well, they've been partying here in Buffalo over the last several days because of the pending exchange in ownership, which should happen later on this year. The fact that Jim Kelly has been deemed healthy and cancer-free. So many positives here in the city of Buffalo. And they wanted to follow it up with a loud day, and they've gotten a loud day, and they lead at 29-10. Here's Landry, and they'll just let it go into the end zone and take a knee. So the Dolphins will take over 1st and 10 from their 20. Ryan Tannehill will go back to work. Tannehill knew what he had in front of him as far as this Bills defense today. Had a whole lot of respect for what the defense for the Buffalo Bills would bring his way.
It was all about the front four. And at the beginning of the game, the front four was the difference and a factor in this game as you look at their defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. But as the game went on, this secondary really started to clamp down on anything the Dolphins receivers were trying to get going downfield.
Buckwell, the rookie running back from Tulane in the game for the first time. Tannehill to throw. Pass is complete to Landry. And he'll have a first down, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 34. McKelvin makes the tackle. We asked the players about Jim Schwartz and what his impact has been. And the frontline guys say, he hasn't really done too much with us. We're basically doing the same things, but they felt like the impact was with the linebackers and the secondary with him coming over from the Lions.
Would you change anything about the front four?
I don't know if I would.
It sounds pretty easy to me.
It does.
But those guys do what they do best and try and protect him on the back end.
From the 34, Tannehill out of the shotgun, 2 receivers stacked. And he's looking to throw, and he dumps it off in the middle. A little check down to Darkwa. And he's up close to the 45. Duke Williams makes the tackle. And I believe the Dolphins have just used their final timeout. The other thing we asked Jim Schwartz was probably the same thing we'd ask Gary Kubiak, who's the offense coordinator for the Ravens. Was it important after losing his head coaching job with the Lions to get right back at it? He said, and I guess you would agree with this, Adam, it's what we do.
It's what you do. And exactly right. You know, I know one of my great mentors, Lovie Smith, after he was fired from the Chicago Bears, he took a year off to try and recalibrate, trying to figure things out, and just trying to get a feel for what he wanted. He knew he wanted to be a head coach, so sat out a year and came back now as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But these guys are lifers. They love it, and they're good at it.
On first down, Tannehill to throw again. His team down by 19, looking long, trying to find Hartline, and then right through his hands. Incomplete. Cersei was in on the coverage.
Boy, 2 things. I don't know how you let Brian Hartline get behind you in this situation. The other thing is, look, right there, right through the hands. I mean, missed opportunity. It doesn't matter which one it is, whether it's, you know, Charles Clay or Mike Wallace or Lamar Miller. Now Brian Hartline gets a chance for the big ball here, and they don't come away with it.
See Tannehill's numbers, 206 yards. It'll be second down. Darkwa in the backfield with him. Pass is complete underneath. And Gibson trying to get to the first down marker. Might be a half-yard shy. Roby and Graham in on the tackle.
You know, Tom, it's a cliche with football, and the fact that you never know which play it's going to be, and it's only a handful of plays in the game that ends up being the difference in the game. And if you're the Miami Dolphins on offense, you're looking at 6 or 7 missed opportunities that could have gave you a chance early in this game and late in this game. You just cannot win if you continue to drop passes and miss those opportunities.
Here's Darkwa spinning his way inside the 30. Don't forget, coming up after this ball game, NFL Today, James Brown and the boys will be along. Get you caught up on what's going on around the National Football League on the second Sunday of the season. Also coming up next on CBS, Kansas City at Denver, Jets at Green Bay, and Houston at Oakland on many of these stations. Gibson with the reception, 27 seconds to play. Doug Marrone still looking for something on the sidelines.
No, he's not going to stop coaching.
Ball sits at the 23-yard line of Buffalo. No, it was an energetic day here in Buffalo to start, and it just kept on building. It may have hit an ebb and flow at one point, but then C.J. Spiller's 102-yard touchdown return really blew the top off the joint. Here's Darkwa, who's wrapped up and taken down at the 20. It'll be third down. Preston Brown makes the tackle. Darkwa in. Damian Williams and Lamar Miller have gotten a lot of the reps for the Dolphins today. Miller you would expect, Williams not so much, but no, Sean Marino was hurt in the first quarter. And that's one of those that certainly hurt the Dolphins. Just 21 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. On third down and less than 2. Tannehill lofts it toward the end zone, and it's incomplete. It was intended for Matthews. It'll be fourth down. Well, we've mentioned it a handful of times on the telecast about Ryan Tannehill's struggles on the road, particularly here in Buffalo, and it continued here today. And not all of it was his doing. There were a lot of drop passes by his receivers here this afternoon, too.
Yeah, it was a team-wide issue. And he certainly had his issues with some of his ball location, but did not get helped out by his offensive line early in the game and his wide receivers and tight ends throughout the course of the game.
Tannehill has that pass, and it's intercepted by McKelvin on the far side of the field. And there is the exclamation point for the Buffalo Bills.
How about this? Going back to the out routes, McKelvin, that's just perfect trail position. Playing the hip, driving underneath. And when I talked to Donnie Henderson, their DB coach, before the game, he talked about the fact that his game changed when he started to learn how to play the ball. When he looked back for the ball, when he was in position. And that's why he had the best year of his career last year, and why he ends up with a game-clinching interception.
E.J. Manuel will just take a knee, and the Buffalo Bills will win again over the Miami Dolphins here in Buffalo. Today, the final score, it's the Bills 29 and the Dolphins 10. Well, it caps an emotional week here in Buffalo. They were hoping for it to be loud. It was loud. They were hoping for these big play receivers to step up. And Sammy Watkins definitely stepped up. And they were also hoping for this defensive line to emerge again. And they certainly did that against the Dolphins offense. Once again, the final score. It's the Bills 29, the Dolphins 10. Coming up next, it's the Chiefs at the Broncos, Jets at the Packers, or Texans at the Raiders. So for Adam Archuleta, this is Tom McCarthy saying so long from Buffalo. What a day, what a week it has been for the Bills and their fans. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Coming up, it's NFL Today Update. We'll join James Brown in New York after this.